Let me check and see how my mic is. Okay. Okay. Okay, my camera's working. I think it's copacetic over here.
Swiss murder for Breonna.
Okay. We should have people coming in here at the moment. And inshallah, we should get our numbers to a point where we can start. Even if we get a couple in at the moment, we'll go ahead and start. And
what would your life be like if you were a rapid transformational therapist? Tell my family that I love them, I ain't coming home. Man, I thank God for them chemicals. Please do not shoot, I ain't got nothing. I'm doing what you say and I'm tell my family that I love them, I ain't coming home. Man, I thank God for them chemicals. This situation was sad and it hurt me to the core. Whites killing blacks, but we fighting their wars. I'm tired of watching news and these cops don't bleed, but the hands of a life for some weed. They create clips and write a script to get they people's going insane. They pre-crazy for no sense. While my people's unemployed, selling drugs for their kids. Can't get a job cause they color they skin. We done been through enough. It's taking a toll. We been had another dirty game getting old. I down Malcolm X and wanna call him a thug. Cause he fought with his head and he ain't show no love.
Okay.
Insane, insecure, snakes and lies. Yeah, I said it. I'm black and I'm proud. What more do you want?
Okay, I was trying to figure out what happened. I was like, okay, what happened? All right. Okay. I was trying to figure out what happened with that. Okay. So we up in this house and we waiting on people to go ahead and get in the room. Okay. That is working. Trying to make sure nothing is wrong. Okay. Just make sure that bad boy is working. Look like we don't have anyone that wants to talk about relationships. All these people out here not in relationships. And they shine away from the topic of relationships. I bet if I had moved directly to the topic of polygamy, y'all would have been busting the door down, and we'd have had to kind of like put up a lock on the door. But since that's not the topic, I didn't know that relationship was such a sour topic in the eyes of the people. Because we're not getting any participants here. Don't be afraid. Get on up in there. It ain't gonna bite you. Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Like I said before, don't be afraid to get up in there. We talking about relationships. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We talk about relationships, and we opening up the floor for those that I see. We have one participant so far that is in here, but whoever the person is shy and afraid to come up in here and get on this topic right now. I know we got a whole bunch of brothers out there, and as I said before, had I opened up the floor, because eventually we're gonna get there, but had I opened up the floor immediately talking about polygamy, you brothers would have been all up in here, just knocking down the door, just to see what was being said and what was going down. But since that's not what's being talked about, you know what I'm saying, you brothers is running away from the reality of the topic or the situation, especially those brothers that are single, that are not looking to actually get married. Okay, so that is where we at. We still on the same thing. But my hope, what I will put out to y'all is this right here. I see we got one that one person watching right now. All you got to do is come on in. You ain't got to be shy. Don't be shy. It ain't gonna hurt. You know what I mean? It's not like it's not like we coming to get you or nothing like that. So you mean to tell me I lost that? You gotta be kidding me. Okay. Whoever that one person is, go ahead and get up in there. Don't be afraid. It ain't gonna hurt. It is not gonna hurt. It is not gonna hurt. Okay. It is not going to hurt. This is the first question that we actually presenting in relation to relationships. The real question that we wanted to start off with, we wanted to pose it to a group of people. But as I said before, because this topic right now is not talking about polygamy, a lot of people, a lot of brothers are not in here. But eventually we'll get there, because this topic should be going on for at least about maybe 2, maybe 3 or 4 weeks. It depends on how it develops and how it grows. Same way we did with the topic of repatriation, and the same way we did with group economics. Okay, so this one is about relationships, and the original question that we asked was, for a woman, why would you marry a man? You know what I mean? Not as to say that's a strange thing, but what are the reasons why you would choose a man, or that particular man, and why would you marry a woman? Asking brothers, meaning specifics as far as why would you choose that person? Because sometimes we choose people, and we choose for reasons other than the reasons that a person should be chosen. And so those situations don't always come out right. Okay. Meaning to say that we may notice certain character flaws that the person may have, but we have a tendency to overlook those character flaws, and we'll go ahead and go into the relationship, knowing from the beginning that there were telltale signs letting you know, hey, this is not going to be a good thing. But instead of backing out or just not going through with it, we go through with it anyway. So so that's why we're posing the question, okay? And the question that's that's going across the screen, that's the actual question related to the first ideal here, okay? And so what are the 5 character traits your future spouse needs to have? Okay, so when you talk about things that the kind of character traits that cinch a situation for you, and you know that that person is, the one, what are those character traits? This is the question. What are those character traits? Okay, and then you don't have to you don't have to come on live in order to answer the question. I mean, you can type in your response, okay? And when you type in your response, and we'll share that response, okay? But I'll go ahead and I'll chime in on my own and give character traits, okay? For me, a lot of the these topics are not catering to a Muslim audience. They're catering to Muslim, Christian, and others. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, I may speak from my own personal position, and I may give reference to things that I feel are more important based upon my religious background. And likewise, other people will do the same. So we don't want to become offended with people's preferences, be it if they're Jewish or Christian or whatever they may be. Okay. But for me, when I look at the 5 character traits for any spouse, one of the number 1 character traits for me is that we be on the same page as far as religion is concerned. Okay. And the reason why I say that is that because I'm Muslim, and in Islam we are allowed to marry women of the book, Christians. Okay. But for me, that's just something that I feel that I wouldn't do. And the reason why I wouldn't do it is because, for one, that creates a conflict inside of a conflict of interest in the house. As a person who converted to Islam and became Muslim, first one in my family, more than 1990. So we talking, subhanAllah, we talking years, subhanAllah, it's like 30 years ago. So after making that transition and becoming Muslim, entering into Islam, that's what I would like to provide for my family as a way of life. Okay, because Islam is a way of life. So the last thing I would do is enter into a relationship with a non-Muslim and have a child, so that now there's a conflict of interest. And then, we're battling to see who the child is going to choose to follow. Okay. So that, for me, that's a no-brainer. And that's just me. I got a lot of brothers. I've talked to different brothers, and they feel that, marrying a non-Muslim sister who's Christian or other. They don't have a problem with that. That's on them, which there's nothing wrong with it. It's legal for them to do. But for me, I just wouldn't do it. And that's based upon the outcome as far as what I'm looking for in marriage. Okay. So that's just number one. And no, you know, these are character traits that I'm mentioning only for me. And also, if you have character traits, I want you to, you know, type them in, or you can, you know, you can get on and you can share your character traits that you are looking for. You know, in a future spouse. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not looking for a future spouse. I'm just talking about character traits. I'm giving you my 5 character traits. And likewise, you can share your character traits. If you already have a spouse, and you can outline the character traits in your spouse that you actually like the most. Okay, so that's number one for me, is that, you know, the person be on page with me with religion, and that the person has some kind of love for religion, at least some respect for religion to an extent. Okay, meaning, you know, if I'm a married sister, she's Muslim, that she has that kind of love and respect for Islam to that degree. And so that's just where I'm at this stage in my life. I've never married a sister who's not Muslim, except prior to Islam. So that's just where I'm at. You know what I mean? The second character trait that I would look at, or that I prefer, is that the person be appreciative. Okay, be appreciative. In other words, you know, it's hard out here for brothers, and when a brother grind and put in the work, because a lot of brothers don't grind and don't put in the work. You know, no knock on the brothers. You know, it's a lot of obstacles in front of brothers. But when brothers are out there grinding and putting in the work, it's important for a spouse to be appreciative. Likewise, for a sister, if she putting in the work, a brother should be appreciative. You know what I mean? Because you got a lot of sisters out there that are breadwinners and that are putting in the work. So brothers also have to lower their egos and, you know, hey, be appreciative. You know, massage some feet when the sister come home, whatever, you know, whatever it may be. You know what I mean? You know, cook a meal, you know what I'm saying, or cook some meals. You know, it's just about showing appreciation, because, you know, when you talk about, you know, how people want to be treated, some things are paramount to how people feel. Because if a person doesn't feel like they're being treated the way they should be treated, of course they're going to be unhappy. That's just, you know what I mean? And none of us are perfect, and we don't have the ability to, you know, to be perfect, but we strive to do the best we can. You know what I mean? So those are my first 2 character traits. Number 1, sister, be, you know, same faith. That's number 1. Number 2, that the sister have, she's appreciative. So she appreciates, you know, the little bit or the lot, or, you know, whatever it is that I do, she appreciates it. I realize that, you know, hey, I'm actually doing, you know, if a brother falls short, then, you know, hey, I see him, he's doing all he can. You know what I mean? And number 3 for me would be the third character trait. Okay, we got somebody in here, and we're gonna let the sister share after I finish. I'm gonna finish with these other 3 character traits, and if you want, you can go ahead and you can type in your character traits, or you can actually you can say your character traits. Okay, so character trait number 3. The third character trait for me is to be modest in the extent of as far as not be materialistic. My sister Shalakima is on just posted a video, and what prompted this whole thing of relationships was Sister Shalakimia. Shout out to my sister. For those that don't know who Shalakimia is, you got to get up on Sister Shalakimia. Or if you hooked up with me on Facebook, I'm posting many posts from the sister. You know what I mean? And the sister, she's inspiring. She has a lot of empowering things to say in relation to relationships, and she's been through a lot. You know what I'm saying? So I really support that sister right there. Okay, so I said same faith. I also said appreciative, and I said to not be spendthrift. You know what I mean? To value to value wealth, or because if you're working and you're trying to achieve a goal as a partner, the last thing you need to do is have your partner working against you by different ways. I know a lot of sisters that got jobs and they working and their man ain't really working. Brother going out, he take the money that she make, he going out buy brand new PlayStations and stuff like that. Just unnecessary things when you could actually be making investments into the future of your children, and also into the future of stability for just for your future. So those are the three that I mentioned so far. Okay, and so number 4 would be just a basic kindness, not to be to the point where some brothers want sisters to be like servants. I'm just talking about a basic kindness. You know what I'm saying? Know how to treat people. You know what I mean? And don't have your face all curled up all the time. You know what I mean? Just I mean, come on. I mean, just to be, kindness. And I think that I think the part about kindness has to do with one's own self. Okay, one's own self. Because if a person is kind, that state of kindness is coming from a person's heart. So a person may be kind, you know what I mean, and can rub off on the other person, and that person also take on the characteristics of kindness, or it could go vice versa. Okay, and so that's why in the beginning I said, what are the traits? Because if you don't find these traits in people, those are already, for me, these are already telltale signs, of not to move forward. Okay. And the last trait I would say would be, which is a very sticky one. I would say that the 5th and final trait would be to say that the person be if for me, if it's and if you're a female, you're gonna have your own character traits. For me, I would say that a female be loyal. You you know, and I should have said, I actually loyalty should have been number 3. Okay. Or number 2. I'm sorry. Loyalty is actually number 2 for me. So that's 5. So I'm gonna recap on those. I said that the first one is same religion, same faith, so that there is no conflict between the two in the house on how to raise kids. And then number 2, loyalty, to be appreciative, okay, and then to be kind and not be a spendthrift, so that you out in the dunya and you're accumulating wealth, but you're not accumulating wealth in a way where you are advancing. The wealth that you're accumulating is negative growth because you're not working together. Okay, you're working against one another, and so you're not a partnership at that point. And so for me, you got to be, you come together and you work as a team so as to get better. You don't work as a team to work against one another. You know what I mean? You got a lot of people where, situations in the States where a lot of sisters have highly qualified jobs and the brothers don't have highly qualified jobs. And you have a lot of good sisters that take up the slack for those brothers and help those brothers, get over the top. And, but the brother needs to lower his ego, like I said before. And then you have other situations where it's vice versa. Okay. And once again, brother needs to lower his ego. So has to treat the sister with kindness, because he may be in the power situation, and it may go to his head again, because the ego is a intricate part of our situation as far as a man is concerned. And so the ego, it can be good or it can be bad. Okay, but the ego is necessary. Okay, all right, the ego is necessary. All right, because without ego, he doesn't have the drive at times to compete with other men for jobs and so forth. So that ego is there, but the person shouldn't be egotistical to the point where he doesn't have the ability to lower his ego when he's dealing with a female, not knowing that she is not, she's not a threat to him. Okay. But unfortunately, there are some females that pose a threat to brothers, in the States. I've seen it with my own eyes, but in reality, she's not a threat. She may see herself as a threat to you for the simple fact that she has misconstrued the roles that spouses should play. Okay. And so that can go both ways. Sometimes if a woman is handling all of the business and the dudes at home playing PlayStation all day long and don't have a job, then it can go bad like that too, because now she is taking up the role as the breadwinner as a man, and he's not participating in that sense. Okay. And so because he's not participating in that sense, what happens is that that person basically, I see you, Aki. I see you. If you gonna get up in this joint and you gonna speak, then I'm gonna wait on you. You know what I mean? I'm gonna wait on you, you know what I mean? But if you don't want to get up in here, then it's all good too. You know what I mean? So you see what the was scrolling across the bottom of the screen there, and that is the first question being asked in relation to relationships. Okay, and I just broke down and gave the 5 character traits that I think are paramount and very important to any relationship. And of course, everyone's going to have different character traits that they would like their spouse to have, or if you already have a spouse, like I know you do, Okay. You can just talk about those 5 character traits that you like about your spouse. It don't have to necessarily be for a future spouse, because everyone's not looking for a future spouse. Many already have a spouse. So, don't misconstrue the question there. All right. So, Political Pete, you go ahead and you give me what you got. If you got something, my brother. All right. This is my brother right here, Paul, better known as Political Pete. Sometimes, we can go ahead and miscrew him with Pistol Pete, but Political Pete, talk to me what you got, my brother. Okay. So, and like I said before, I already said before that now had I posted this topic and had already evolved and was talking tonight about polygamy, the numbers would be off the chart, and brothers be knocking the door down, and sisters be lined up to talk about, hey, you know what I'm saying? AKA, he just said it. I'm gonna put it up for the brother, AKA Haroon. That's my brother. You know what I'm saying? AKA Haroon. That's my brother right there. We go way back. We go way back all the way to 1996 when I first went overseas and found my brother all the way in Sudan. Look at that. Straight from out of the Rhode Island. Found him in Sudan. You know what I mean? We've been brothers ever since. And he said, yeah, I'm in agreement with what you have mentioned. Okay, my brother, I see you. I see you. Okay. So moving on. Okay. Anyone who has any of the characteristics that you would like to mention or change, please do share. Okay. And don't be shy. All right. Because this topic will evolve eventually into morph into something else. So right now we're just getting out the basics. Now, what are the things that are triggers for you when you see a person, okay, or you hear about a female, or for the females, if you hear about a man or you see a man, what are the things about that person that make you become curious as to, is this person, you know what I mean? Is this person a good spouse or not? Or is this person, as brothers would say, wifey material? You know what I mean? I don't know what sisters say. I ain't even in that conversation, so I don't know what they be saying. So what are the things that first spark you? Okay, is it just looks? Okay, because I have a brother right here. I'm gonna find the clip for y'all, and this is from my sister Shalikia. She posted this right here, and this is what triggered this conversation. I gotta post it for y'all just so y'all would know. This is what triggered all of this conversation. Okay, and let me find it real fast. I'm having trouble finding it, but I'm gonna find it. Let me pull it up. Okay, just give me a second, y'all. All right, because my sister Shalikia, I follow Sister Shalikia a lot, and some of the stuff that she pull up, I find it very interesting because, there's a war going on in the media, men against females. And what Shalikia does is she balances out the scales, because she don't play games with, what I'm saying? Like she said, I got two sons, and I'm a support men, especially if they men doing what they supposed to do. And so that's why I like Shalikia, and I support Shalikia, because she be coming with the business, and she don't be playing no games. Okay. Where is the post? Okay, I think it's coming. Where's it at? Okay. Okay, here we go right here, y'all. This is shot of Kemia's post.
He's not going to marry somebody that he likes. You see, a man will not marry somebody he's cool with. He's not going to marry somebody that he likes. Just because I like you don't mean I'm going to marry you. You will not impress him with your looks. Your looks will get him to look, but afterwards he'll look the other way. Because as good as you think you look, there's another lady that looks just as good as you, if not better. Have you ever noticed that there are men who will marry a woman that looks less good because the true beauty in who she is, she challenges him to be a better person? You see, there's not one man in here who will marry a woman just because she looked good and just because she got a nice smile, just because, nah, that's not why he's marrying you. He's marrying you because one day he sat on a bed and he said, this woman makes me want to do something real. This woman makes me want to have kids. This woman makes me want to have a business, have a job, get my money right, get it together. That's what relationship is all about. You see, relationship is not friendship. Friendship is just courting, but relationship is partnership.
Did you hear that, Pete? Tell me if you heard that. Because if not, I'm at to take out my earphones and play it out loud for you, because I don't think you heard it. I'm gonna play it again because the brother didn't hear it.
You see, a man will not marry somebody he's cool with. He's not going to marry somebody that he likes. Just because I like you don't mean I'm going to marry you. You will not impress him with your looks. Your looks will get him to look, but afterwards he'll look the other way. Because as good as you think you look, there's another lady that looks just as good as you, if not better. Have you ever noticed that there are men who will marry a woman that looks less good because the true beauty in who she is the fact that she challenges him to be a better person? You see, there's not one man in here who will marry a woman just because she looked good and just because she got a nice smile, just because, nah, that's not why he's marrying you. He's marrying you because one day he sat on a bed and he said, this woman makes me want to do something real. This woman makes me want to have kids. This woman makes me want to have a business, have a job, get my money right, get it together. That's what relationship is all about. You see, relationship is not friendship. Friendship is just courting, but relationship is partnership.
Okay, so as you heard what the brother said, the brother is in tune to, there's more to a relationship than just how a person looks or how sister may look good, but she may have bad character. She may be poisonous to you. Okay. Likewise with a brother. Brother may be, all the, women like, brothers, different forms, whatever. Tall, dark, and handsome or whatever, you know how they be saying. But the person can be toxic for you. Okay. So what the brother talks about is how certain people are toxic to one another. All right. He just happened to talk about a female. Why? Because he's a man. And likewise, females, they have their own take as far as, as far as men. You know what I mean? So here we move forward. What I'm saying is that I'm introduced two ideas here. The idea of like and love. Because you may actually be in a situation where you love a person, but you don't like their actions. Okay, so you may love a person dearly, but you don't like their actions. So you can actually like a person, love a person, but not like them. Okay, or you can actually like them, but not love them. All right. So with that being said, how many people get into relationships and they marry somebody because they love them, but then they fall out of love because they don't like what the people do? Okay. And then how many relationships person may be messing with somebody in a situation, but they never marry that person because they don't love them. But the reason why they messing around with that person is because they like that person. They like things that that person do. A lot of brothers get put in friend zone because sisters like them. And we already know it's hard to get out the friend zone once you get in the friend zone. Okay. But a lot of brothers like to be in the friend zone because they think that, you know, if I'm in the friend zone, at least I'm talking to her. Okay. And a lot of that got to do with what the brother's talking about, as far as, you know, she may look good, and so she'll use a brother, or a brother will use a sister, and put them in a friend zone, you know. And just because of that person's kind, or that person may be a particular way, that person will allow themselves to be available to a gorgeous person, a gorgeous sister, or a handsome looking brother, you know what I mean? And allow themselves to be used because of the friend zone situation. But that person never loves that person. They may even hang out together. They may go out together. They may do different things together. But there's something else happening here, because you got two different things. Now, it's really clicking when the person loves you and the person likes you. Now, don't get me wrong. People are always going to get on your nerves, because that's what spouses do. Okay. And the way for you not to get on each other's nerves is a whole nother topic. I ain't gonna even go there right now. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all ain't ready for that. We got to get past this first. You know what I mean? And so the whole part about loving and liking somebody, you know, when you love that person, okay, that's at the point where you want to, because I love a whole bunch of people, but I'll marry those people. Why? Because I may love them, but I don't like them like that. Okay. And so you need those two elements to be in play. Okay. And so the 5 things that I mentioned, okay, the 5 character traits. Anyone who's listening right now, I'd like to hear your 5 character traits for a spouse or a future spouse. Like I said before, I already gave my 5, and my 5 are: same faith, loyalty, appreciative, kindness, and the last one was not to be worldly or a spendthrift. All right, because those are some of the major problems that we have as African Americans. Okay, now I'm speaking culturally now, and as I said in the beginning, a lot of what I'm speaking on. I see you, D-Funk. I see you. I see you up in there, cousin. I see you. So this is my cousin right here, D-Funk Vinci. I see you up in here. All right. So go ahead and tell me, what is your 5 character traits of a future spouse, my brother? Think about it for a moment. You can type it in the chat. You can do it any way you want to do it. Go on and share it with us. All right. Give me the 5 characteristics. I just gave mine. Okay. And we moving past that. We moving into the reality of love in a relationship, and the reality of what I call loving and liking someone, because a lot of people get those two confused. And we love people, but we don't like them. Or we might like someone, but we don't love them. Okay. So these are very important things to outline. So, sometimes we say, I ain't feeling you. You know what I mean? Or, you don't feel me like that. You know what I mean? Or whatever it may be. And these are telltale signs, because it's not all the way. I agree. Okay, he said, okay. Da Vinci says, I agree with the 5 character traits. Okay, but what are your 5 character traits? We want to know your 5 character traits. All right. This brother right here, Political Pete, brother Haroon, just posted his 5. This is what I'm talking about as far as your 5 character traits: humble, loyal, respect, patience, charismatic. That's what we talking about. Your 5 character traits. All right. So Defunct Vinci, give us yours, my brother. What are they? You know what I mean? What are your 5 character traits? Because everybody got their own 5 character traits. Okay. Everybody got their own 5 character traits as far as what you're looking for. You know what I mean? And so I hear you on that, because to be humble, you know what I mean? Tell me why you mentioned humble. All right. Because me and my brother, we be kicking that word around a lot right now. You know what I'm saying? Because of Blackish, you know what I'm saying? Andre talk about, I come from humble beginnings. So when you talk about humble, Political Pete, tell us, give us a demonstration of being humble. What do you mean? You know what I mean? Because I know, you know what I mean, that you yourself, you know what I'm saying, you's a humble brother, you know what I mean? But when you speak about humble from a spouse, from your wife, what do you mean? You know what I'm saying? Is there a particular action that she should carry out, where humility is shown in that action or something? You know what I mean? Anything in particular? You know what I mean? I got some outside static right here because of my neighbors. Kids are kind of like blasting off over here, So give us what you got there, Defunct Vinci. You know what I mean? You said you agree with the 5. What 5 do you agree with? Okay. He said, my brother said, big booty, slim waist, nice lips, big hips, strong knees. He said that's the ghetto 5. He said that's the ghetto 5. He said, Lul, that's the ghetto 5. That's the 5 that always get brothers in trouble, right? That's the ghetto 5. I'm going to put that back up on the screen. The ghetto 5 get brothers in trouble all the time. Big booty and a smile. You know what I'm saying? Slim waist. You know what I'm saying? It be a trick sometimes. Don't fall for it, my brothers. Like my brother said right here, I got to play this again. I got to play it again just so it is heard and is understood.
You see, a man will not marry somebody he's cool with. He's not going to marry somebody that he likes. Just because I like you don't mean I'm going to marry you. You will not impress him with your looks. Your looks will get him to look, but afterwards he'll look the other way. Because as good as you think you look, there's another lady that looks just as good as you, if not better. Have you ever noticed that there are men who will marry a woman that looks less good because the true beauty in who she is the fact that she challenges him to be a better person? You see, there's not one man in here who will marry a woman just because she looked good and just because she got a nice smile, just because, that's not why he's marrying you. He's marrying you because one day he sat on a bed and he said, this woman makes me want to do something real. This woman makes me want to have kids. This woman makes me want to have a business, have a job, get my money right, get it together. That's what relationship is all about. You see, relationship is not friendship. Friendship is just courting, but relationship is partnership.
I know you heard that, Da Vinci. Did you hear that? Tell me if you heard that. If not, I'm about to play it again. He said the 5 character traits he's looking for is loyalty, respectful, non-dramatic. Yeah, that melodramatic drama is just, ooh, man, full of love, cleanliness. All right, full of love and cleanliness. I'm with you on all of these right here, man. Dang. I ain't think about, you know what I'm saying? And those are some of the, the reason why I didn't think of this non-dramatic thing, because that's a negative trait. You're right. and you really can't say it in a positive way. Just, don't give me no drama. Yeah. Full of love. Yeah. But also, it's, full of love, man. With love comes some hardships. You do know that. So it's always coming with some hardships. You know what I mean? Whenever there's love, there's always coming with some hardships. He says, I would do whatever she wants just to keep her too. There it is there. There it is there. And this is what Shalakimia is talking about, is that the sisters be believing that it ain't no good men out there. And it is. It's just that sisters have a tendency not to go for good particular qualities. They looking for a particular look. Brother got his pants hanging all down and so forth, and he ain't got his moral compass is all jacked up. He don't know what he want to do in life. You know what I mean? And so, these are the kind of brothers that these sisters be falling for, and then brothers be going for an easy bed knocker. You know what I mean? And there's another topic that a brother kicked out the other day that we gonna kick around, and it's called I ain't gonna even mention it right now, but it's definitely gonna be coming up in this trend. Humble meaning no shouting and control of emotions. So you saying the same thing that the brother said. D Funk Vinci said the same thing. Both of y'all on the same page. No melodramatic outburst. The melodramatic outburst be making brothers lose their mind, man. Yeah. And so if you go back and you listen to what the brother said, he said that a woman has power. This what I want sisters to understand, is that women have power, but it's about how you use your power that makes you the queen. Because just like on a chessboard, she got more moves than the king do. But it's about how she use her moves. If you use all of your moves to work against your king, then you really working on the other team. Okay, likewise, if a brother ain't handling his business and he messing around and got, as they say in the dunya right now, side chicks and so forth, then, hey, you working against your team, because you spending money outside of your house on something that is not going to grow your wealth or your foundation. Okay. And so that's what we talking about. We talking about building equity. When we talk about building equity, we talking about building equity in money and in the relationship. You know what I'm saying? He said there are more gold diggers than gold makers out there. Dang, boy, you said it. You said it. You said it.
Hey,
We got somebody up in the house. We got somebody up in the house, my brother. I'm glad you up in there. We got somebody in the house.
I told y'all.
Now I'm gonna go ahead and recap on the things that we done already went over. Okay. And the first question that was posed, I'm gonna shoot it back across. It's going across the bottom of the screen right there, and talking about the 5 characteristics or the traits of a future spouse. Okay. And my 5 character traits that I mentioned in the beginning. First of all, everything that I'm talking about is connected with 2 things. It's connected with love and liking a person, because you can love a person but not like that person. Okay. And what do I mean by loving a person and not like the person? You can love, when I talk about love, I talk about the sincere feeling that you have for that person. Okay. Emotionally, physically, spiritually. But when I talk about liking, I talk about that you may not like the person's actions. And so the person's actions are not, they're unwelcomed actions. I mean, you're like, man, why she do that? Or why he do that? You know what I mean? Like it could be numerous, it could be anything that could turn you off. So loving someone and liking them gotta be two mandatory things. So when I talk about my 5 character traits, I'm talking about first of all, she need to be of the same faith as me. Okay. And why do I say that? Because if I'm, even though for the brothers on here that's Muslim, if you have a sister who's of the same faith, then there's not going to be conflict inside of the house when it comes down to raising your kids. You know what I mean? And I saw this take place with a brother when I was younger, and I wanted to marry his niece, and he was Muslim actually, and his wife was Christian, and so I saw a lot of confusion with the raising of his boys. They had entered into gangs and all kind of stuff because it was 2 things being taught in the house. Okay, all right. So the second thing that I speak on is loyalty. So same religious background as me, loyalty, respect, kindness. Okay, and have a respect for the distribution of our wealth. You know what I mean? Because as we come together as partners, we need to guard this equity that we have, be it through equity coming from land or from a house, or be it just what we have accumulated in the relationship itself. Right? So that's where we at with that right there. You know what I mean? And so those are the character traits that I think are important for me. Everyone else has their own character traits. It says the woman misuses her power by letting her emotions control her. Yes. What about brothers who also let their emotions control them? Because we got some of them now. We got brothers that let their emotions control them too now. Don't forget it. Come on. So let's tell the truth. You know what I'm saying? I saw some brothers, man. I'm like, that's unbecoming of a man. But, it's there. You know what I mean? So, so we got, all across the board. You know what I mean? We got, on both sides. You know what I'm saying? And so we got 2 brother Haruns on here, because the brother that's on here by the name of Paul, this brother's name is Harun also, Aki.
Okay.
Yeah, this brother's name is Harun also. Okay. And so and then the other brother, George DeFocovici Hudson, that's my cousin right there. You know what I mean? Straight from out of Cali, straight from out of California, my brother from out of Compton. You know what I mean? So they've given a lot of different positions that they had as far as, character traits. He spoke of loyalty, respectful, non-dramatic, full of love, and cleanliness. And the other brother, Harun, he spoke on his. He said that humble, loyal, respect, patient, and charismatic. But he also gave a hood outline as far as the 5 characteristics of, what I'm saying, hood fabulous. You know what I mean? This is what he said. He said, big booty, slim waist, nice lips, hips, strong knees. You know what I'm saying? So he clowning, but that's what he said, because, that's what we be falling for in reality. That's what we fall for. You know what I mean? And that's what be getting a lot of brothers in trouble, is because we don't be having our priorities straight a lot of times. You know what I mean? And so We like you to go ahead and give us your 5 character traits, my brother. As far as they can be 5 character traits that you already have in a spouse, or they can be 5 character traits that you seek to find in a spouse. Okay, as you like.
Okay, what I'm looking for is what I like in a woman, and what I'm looking for a spouse is honesty, patience, intelligence. What else? That's 3. Love for the dean,
Okay.
and what else? And I have to say, very compassionate.
Okay.
You know, those are things I kind of look for in a woman.
Okay.
Like I told you, I'm like recently divorced. I hate saying that.
Hey, bro, I'm recently divorced myself, brother. So we're in the same boat. You know what I'm saying?
My ex-wife cooler because I wouldn't divorce her.
Okay.
And you know, and I think the biggest issue that we don't talk about, you know, as married couples or divorced couples, is the mental state that the person is going through.
Yeah.
You know, and
talk about mentally, huh? Or what do you mean? Emotionally and mentally?
Mentally and emotional state that people are going through, you know. And what I've learned since I got divorced, and even before we got divorced, is that sometimes some people just not in a good mental state, and they allow their emotions and their perceptions cloud their judgment.
Okay.
What's best for them, men and women. Men and women do this, and their perception sometimes is, you know, I've learned that whatever people perceptions of you, even though it's completely wrong or the opposite of what you may think and other people may think, but that's their perception, and that's something you just can't change. You know, no matter what you say, no matter what you say and what you do. I mean, I get, you know, not to get out, you know, put my business out there, but I'll give you an example.
Bro, you ain't the only one, bro. No, I can't.
I'll give you an example. Like, while we were going through divorce, my wife said, I know, it's so funny, my ex-wife said, I know you don't like being lonely, and I know you're going to get remarried again. And I'm like, yo, why would you say that? I know you. I said, sister, you obviously you don't know me, because if I wanted to get, and if I was, while we were going through divorce, if you think that you know me like you say you know me, I already would have been planning to get another woman.
Yeah,
I just would have just transitioned to get someone else while we're going through this divorce. I'm like, yo, I'm not the one who's trying to get divorced. That's you, and that's your perceptions. She's like, well, I know you can't be lonely too long. I'm like, obviously, sister, you don't know me like you think you know me. And I said, these are your perceptions that you have about me, and I can't change that. Yeah. You know?
Wow.
And I think the sister even now is surprised, like I haven't announced I got married, or I'm seeing somebody, or I haven't put my business on Facebook and stuff like that. And I'm like, yo, man, ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah.
And if I am getting married, or that you think I'm going to get married soon, why is it a concern of you? You don't want a divorce. Obviously, you didn't want to be in this relationship, and therefore you don't care anymore. So why do you care?
There it is there. Yep, there it is there. People opt out of relationships without even trying to fix it. And as I said before, a person might, remember what I said before, a person may love you,
but they might not like you.
No. They like you, but you may do one action that they don't like. And so that one action is an action that they already perceived in their mind over a period of time that you're going to do. And so when you do that action, what happens is that now you became a bad person. Why? I knew this person was going to do this. And so I'm going to give you an example of what I'm talking about. And I wasn't gonna mention this, but since you done came on, brother, and you done shared, I got to share. Okay, I'm recently divorced. Okay, anyone who knows me, they know I've always had 2 wives. You know what I mean? and I'm recently divorced. I actually took a third wife. Okay, and so when I took the third wife, you know, in her mind, oh, I knew you was going to be from the beginning. Of course, you probably perceived that for the simple fact that you the second wife. Okay, and before you, I had another wife. So, you know, and so what I tried to do was I tried to try to control the situation so that the sister wouldn't be hurt. Okay, and how did I try to control the situation? I tried to and why? Because I care for the sister, but but I'm trying to care for her feelings and not I don't want her to hear about it uh online or me tell her over the phone. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So and so she traveled and don't get it wrong, we already having problems. Okay, because like you said, I'm already being accused of something for 10 years that I don't really even have an idea to do. I'm 54. And so it's not something that I actually have an ideal to do. But the ideal keeps being presented to me so much. And I'm under so much pressure with this idea, no matter how many actions I do to try to prove that that's not what I'm going to do. Guess what happens? What the person perceives about you. Okay? So what the person perceives about you doesn't change. So I went out my way to try to relieve the individual's fears. Okay, perception. It didn't work. It didn't work. I got typed inside of this ring right here. You can't. You probably ain't gonna be able to see it, but I got typed inside the ring. You can see the 2 right there. All right. I got typed in the ring. 2 is enough. Okay. That's what's typed inside the ring. You know what I'm saying? Just to try to ease the sister's fears. But after 10 years of continuously being bombarded with this ideal, I said, well, I'm already, it's already falling apart and I'm already convicted for the crime. I might as well, I might as well do the deed. Okay. And so now understand what I'm saying. For almost, I was over here in Kuwait by myself for like 2 years, man. Just grinding and, and I'm thinking, what a brother got to do, you know what I mean, to just to get that level of trust from somebody. Why? You know what I'm saying? Like, but like you said, once a person already has that in their mind, and like the brothers mentioned, as far as those character traits, that non-dramatic character trait, once that is turned on, it can't be turned off, because once a person has the perception of you, it just ain't, you know what I'm saying? It just ain't gonna go off like that. And so I just like, it is what it is, you know what I mean? So I went ahead and I shot my shot. And so I looked to try to get married, and it happened. So, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no need. I ain't gonna, I was like, well, I ain't gonna be lonely this time, you know what I mean? Because of choices that other people made. And so, yeah, like same with like your situation. Sister wanted divorce and she kept pushing it. So instead of not going through all of the drama and fussing and all that right there, I went ahead and I said, cool, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm just done with all of the going back and forth and just, being accused of something that I don't really have an ideal to do, and like you said, sometimes a person's mental state is overwhelming to the point where they want you to change. And but there's a good brother here. Brother name is Dr. Nasser. He talks about this right here. He says the person that you married is the same person that you're with. And if you married that person knowing that that person is 40 or 54 or 30 or however old that person is, don't marry that person with the intention that you're going to change that person.
Exactly.
That person is the person you marry. Okay. And so a lot of people come in with that ideal, my brother.
The amazing thing about it, this is the funny thing about that, we were married for 10 years.
Same year. Whoa. Harun, you
10 years. Right? So this is the thing though. I was having a discussion with her mom, and her mother was like, she just don't feel happy. And I'm like, I'm not the causation of her unhappiness.
Wow.
And I was like, one thing about me, I've never tried to change your daughter for being her authentic self. Yeah. I said, the problem is your daughter doesn't know who she is.
Wow.
And she doesn't know how to balance being a wife, a mother, and her career. I said, everything we have done has been on her terms. Yeah. And so we moved to Kenya because she got a job opportunity. And I pushed her for every job that she had. I always pushed her to go higher. I said, so it's not like I didn't support her or not allow her to be her authentic self. I said, compared to other brothers that I know who's married, and even Kenyans who are Muslim and non-Muslim, I said, you understand, your daughter has a lot of freedoms that compared to her friends and her Muslim friends and non-Muslim friends, I said, she has a lot of freedom. I don't make her and I don't force her to do anything.
Wow.
And so, even her mom was like, a lot of her friends didn't understand why she wanted to get divorced. I mean, most of the things that she kept bringing up was financial. Because in the last 5 years, she took care of everything. And I was like, that's kind of, and I had to tell people, I said, it's like, it's 50-50 because when I was in Kenya, couldn't find a job. So I had to leave. So every time I get a job outside, my main focus is to go back home to try to find a gig. So all my jobs were always temporary. And then when I did find something full time, mentally, I'm like, okay, I'm away from my family, I'm away from my daughter, I'm away from my wife, but I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
Even I had a gig when I was in UAE. I was the principal. I was elementary principal, and the head principal of the whole school was like, "You are just so distracted. Like, it's like you don't want to be here."
Wow.
And at first, I was like, "No, I do want to be here." She's like, "No, you don't," because something is really distracting me. And at that time, I was like, "You know what's just distracting me? I'm away from my daughter. I'm away from home, from my family." And I'm missing out seeing my daughter grow up, and I'm missing out being a husband.
Wow.
And so my wife at the time, when I try to explain this to her, it's like, you get a job, you lose it. And I said, I don't lose it. It's not like I lose it. I said, but I'm not in the right mental state to be there because I'm away from you guys. You know what I'm saying? So I'm missing out on a lot of things. And she just didn't understand it. And I'm like, at the point, I think this just don't care anymore. Because after when we had a miscarriage and then we lost our son, we grew apart even more. And so when I'm trying to figure things out, what I can do to get closer back to home, I'm back in Saudi Arabia or I'm back in UAE. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not really there to help her mentally to deal with that. Wow. And so what's so funny is when we came home last year, we did a family visit last year. Everything was fine. We had such a great time. We didn't argue. We didn't even hardly argue ever. We had such a great time as a family. Get back to Kenya. Complete 360. Complete 360. And then I took a gig in Saudi Arabia because she's looking at me sideways like, you need to do something. You know what I'm saying? And then I guess for her, she got used to me not being home. And then it got to the point was like, I don't need nobody. And the sad part about it, instead of doing the Islamic thing of reconciling or trying to figure it out, she wanted to do it's called Mind Valley crap that they have out here, how to be friends with your spouse, how to separate from your spouse. And she took all those classes, even though we made an agreement to work on our marriage. So when I left in January, because I came January, I had a break. We had a discussion, we had an agreement, like we're going to work it out. So when I go back to Saudi, I'm thinking everything is cool. We're going to work this out. As I'm back in Saudi, she's gradually pulling herself away. And then March, she asked for a divorce and said she wanted to get divorced. And I'm like, where's this coming from? And then it came from this little program that she was taking, that she was already taking 5-6 weeks in the program. I'm like, wait a minute, where is this coming from, homie? You know what I'm saying? It's like, who are you? You know, and I had to ask her that, like, who are you? This is something going on. I'm like, you know what? This sister's not in a good mental state. And that's why I was saying, sometimes as spouses, and sometimes as husbands, and sometimes as wives, our spouses are not in a good mental state.
Yes.
And sometimes we're not the best person to help them.
Because every time they hear us, it's a direct, it's like shouting.
You're right. It's a trigger. It's just a trigger.
Yep.
It's just a trigger. Even though you're not the one who's causing that trigger or that harm, it's just something about you that they're angry about, and they can never really pinpoint exactly what they're angry about. And then when you do have a discussion and air out everything about what they're angry about, come to find out it's like, you can't be serious. You're mad about that. It could be something that happened 5 years ago. It can be something that happened 2 years ago. It can happen something that 10 years ago. And it's like, we're supposed to have moved on from that. And you're still angry. You're still holding on to that. Or they're just looking for a reason.
Wow.
Or just looking for a reason to be angry, or looking for a reason to be pessimistic, you know. And that's another thing. You know, I think that we as Black Americans dealing with other cultures, their pessimism in marriage, because sometimes what I've learned being overseas, and this is my second time getting married to a sister that's not American. What I've noticed,
and where was the first one to?
First one was Saudi.
Okay.
And when a pattern that I have noticed with these sisters is that if they don't have a good relationship with their fathers, even though if the father is home, but if they don't have good relationships with their fathers, I've noticed a pattern that they're going to be very pessimistic in the marriage.
Wow.
I've noticed that.
Daddy issues. Yeah.
Daddy issues. And much as both, and just from my experience, both women will always say they didn't have daddy issues. And I'm like, no, you got daddy issues. Because your perceptions and your anger and
how they see men
and how you see how a marriage is supposed to be, is based upon what you know from your parents.
Okay, let me ask you this right here. Because a lot of men, we got mama issues, and myself, you know, I can rightly say that I have mama issues. You know what I mean? And I've tried to address a lot of the issues that I've had before my mom passed. Okay. And a lot of issues that we may have, a lot of brothers don't know they got mama issues. Okay. A lot of us don't know how to treat women. Okay. And sometimes you may get past those mama issues, but a woman don't even understand that you even got those issues.
It's true.
You understand what I'm saying? And so she doesn't know when you even trying. So you may be actually trying to overcome some issues that you actually suffering from, but she can't tell because she don't know that you got those issues because she's too busy dealing with hers.
Right.
You know?
Way too busy dealing with hers. And then if there's children involved, too busy dealing with the kids.
Yeah.
And that's one thing about women. They will put all their energy into their kids. And that's just the nature of who they are.
Yeah.
That's just their nature. And unfortunately, especially, and I like bring this up. I have to bring this up, especially with this new this feminist movement that's going everywhere, especially that's kind of planting itself in the Muslim world.
Yep.
That's also changes the dynamics of relationships too. You know, and like I tell people, I don't have a problem. I said a real man don't have a problem with a woman having her rights. No one has a problem with that. The problem lies is that when you're trying to get your rights based off a perception that you have about men, when it has nothing to do with you and your relationship.
Yeah, it's culturally detached.
Right. It's like we shouldn't be fighting because, sister, I'm not trying to stop you from doing anything. So what you
I'm letting you work.
Exactly.
You going out doing everything else that you want to do. You got your own money, you doing this, you doing that. What else can we, what else are we fighting about? Yeah, I understand. I see you.
What are we fighting about?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't stop you from doing anything. You know, and unfortunately, a lot of sisters.
What I would say, yeah, go ahead. A lot of sisters, they fall into this trap. No,
go ahead.
I'm with you. A lot of sisters fall into this trap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of sisters fall in this trap. I look at some of my white friends back in Kenya, even her sisters fall into this trap. And a lot of times these sisters don't understand why they're by themselves. And it has a lot to do with their perceptions and what they expect men to do. The biggest issue that a lot of women have, they're always going into a relationship trying to change a man.
Now, let me speak on that, my brother. Let me speak on that. Judge Lynn speaks about this issue in divorce court a lot. And what she says is that, why are you trying to force a man into becoming someone that you want him to be when he's already giving you all the signs on who he is?
Exactly.
And you're trying to go ahead and make something that you want. When, once again, like I told you, the doctor said, Dr. Nasser, is that the person that you find when you talk to this person about marriage or whatever relationship situation may be, at the age that that person is, that's who he is, or that's who she is. There isn't going to be many changes. Okay. And the changes that are going to come are going to be changes that are paramount to the relationship, to make things, you know what I mean? Because you're going to always be somebody and you're not going to like everything about that person.
Exactly.
Impossible. You know what I mean? You can't.
And the thing is, what we as couples is that biggest issue that I've noticed in couples is that they don't know how to accept people for the people who they're married to as their authentic self. Men and women do this. Sometimes brothers kind of pressure sisters to be something that they're not.
Mm-hmm.
And sisters do the exact same thing, right? And like I had a conversation with my ex-wife, and she was like, "You want this perfect little angel?" And I'm like, "Sister, I don't make you do nothing.
Mm. Wow.
I don't make you do anything. That's your perception. What I will say and what I'm expecting is respect me in public and at home. So if you say something out of pocket in public, yes, I'm going to pull you to the side and be like, what's really going on here?"
Yeah.
You know, and I've noticed another thing, a clash of culture. You know, maybe this is just how I grew up. Because I looked at my mom and I looked at my stepfather relationship, and my mom never said nothing out of pocket about her husband in public. And she never said nothing out of pocket about him in front of me. Okay. What I've noticed with both women that I was married to, they say things out of pocket.
They don't have old school wisdom.
And they don't think nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Old school wisdom. That's queen wisdom.
Right. And so I'm like, now there's a difference between saying something as a joke. And I said, I would say something in the joke and everybody know I'm laughing, because if we're laughing, we're talking about a joke. But when we're serious, I don't say things out of pocket about you. So don't say nothing out of pocket about me. And I noticed that when I was in Kenya, it wasn't just my wife doing this. This was like a reoccurring thing.
Really? Wow.
With a lot of couples, Muslim and non-Muslim. I'm like, yo, maybe I'm cut from a different cloth. You know what I'm saying? So even when I was in Saudi Arabia, I noticed that too. Also, like when we were around family or friends, you know, people say stuff out of pocket. Wow. Husbands too. Some husbands will say something out of pocket. And I'm like, yo, man, you shouldn't be saying that. You know what I mean? Trying to embarrass the wife or say something about the wife in public. I'm like, yo, you know, yo, man, I had to talk to a couple of brothers about that too. You know, these are deep Saudis. I'm like, yo, you know, oh, don't worry. I know the family, you know, we're family. We can say that. I'm like, yo, but that's your wife. You know what I mean? Whatever issue you are having, you say that at home.
Yeah, not in
you
public.
You know, and it's a culture. I think it's a cultural thing.
Yeah. That's unfortunate, but that is unfortunate because that's not the kind of wisdom that when you need to air something out, you're only making it worse by mentioning it in public.
I mean, it don't have to be nothing serious, but I think there are just certain things I don't think couples should say in public.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if we're having a debate and it kind of get heated, we have different political spectrums, that's fine. But then when they start taking pot shots at each other in public, it's like, yo, hey, wait, where's this coming from? And I've witnessed that happen several times. It's like, why are people taking pot shots at each other?
Yeah. You know, I'm finna take a trip down to Kenya myself, my brother. So you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have my armor on. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I don't, you know, I'm gonna have to go ahead and I'm gonna have to put a preemptive strike in for any type of foolishness like that. I don't roll like that, my brother. I'm glad you mentioned that. You know what I mean?
Brother, trust me, I love Kenya.
Okay.
I love Kenya. You know,
I got a brother that another YouTubing brother from out of California. He's actually doing an interview with a brother from Kenya right now who's in America. And I'm gonna go ahead and look at his because he's interviewing at the same time as me right now. So I'm gonna share that interview with you tomorrow. You know what I mean? And You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I'm gonna make sure I share that interview with you tomorrow. Try to remind me because, yeah, he's interviewing the brother right now in America, actually. You know, but
Where's he?
the brother's from Kenya,
Uh-huh.
and the other brothers are from California. And so he's interviewing that brother in relation to places to live in Kenya and cultural, different things about Kenya and stuff like that right there. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
He's a very passive aggressive, and that's something I really don't like.
Yeah.
British, very British. I
Like
don't
Sudan, like
I don't
Sudan.
passive aggressiveness. Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Sudan was also done by the British. Nigeria was too. You know what I mean? All those countries that Britain had a hand in, they have that. They call themselves being clever. You know what I mean? You know,
I don't
and,
passive aggressiveness.
yeah, they call themselves being clever, and they have a thing where a lot of the this is when you talk about the northern tribes in Sudan. A lot of the northern tribes, their women, play a lot of games on the men and to try to like vie for power and stuff like that. Like one particular situation, a friend of mine, he's actually Sudanese, but he's educated in Germany. He married a young sister way back in the day when I was first back in like 90, 99, 2000. And what they'll do is in order to try to gain control over the man, the mother and the grandmother would tell the girl to come home. And so she would tell her husband, my mom wants me to go to her house. And so once the girl goes to visit her mom, the husband takes her over there and say, hey, what time do you want me to pick you up? Oh, come back around, sometime after Maghrib. And so before he comes to get her, she'll call and say, hey, my mom wants me to stay the night. And so he says, okay, boom. He's not knowing that this is a game. Something's going down. And so the girl stays the night, and then she'll call him the next day and say, hey, can you pick up some chicken and stuff like that? Bring some food over here. My mom wants me to help her out with some stuff. So the mom may keep the girl over there for a couple of weeks and just keep having the husband bring food to the house. Okay. And so the ideal is, I'm going to show you how to wear him like this ring right here. Okay.
Are you serious, brother?
Yeah. Let me finish. And so what my boy do, he says, oh, so because he's old school, he know the game. And so, he's playing along, could you bring this by here? My mom, she needs this. So, he's doing it. He do it for a whole week. Second week, the second week come up, she come out, oh baby, I'm glad you came, where's your stuff at? He said, oh, it's in the glove compartment right there. She looked in the glove compartment. She looked. He said, pick it up. She said, it ain't nothing up here but a piece of paper, baby. He said, yeah, that's your paper. That's your divorce paper.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because your family, evidently, they want you more than I do. So you need to go ahead and go back to, no, baby, I didn't want this. Oh, I'm sorry. My mom told me to do it. No. Since you listening to your mom and you're not listening to your husband, you need to go be with your mama. You know what I mean? So he divorced her. And so if a brother is not familiar with culture and not putting his foot down in the beginning, then he'll go deal with these kind of problems when it comes down to some of these northern tribes. Okay. And these are the things that some of these tribes will do. You know what I mean? If they're not from a religious family, you know what I mean? And, myself, alhamdulillah, I didn't marry from the northern tribes. All the tribes that I married from are more from the eastern, southern area of, they actually migrated from Nigeria and around up in this area where the Fulani came from. So
Hausa then.
Hausa, Nigerian. I married two sisters in Sudan. One of them, she's basically from the family of Sheikh Usman Dan Fodio, the village that she comes. Yeah, the village where she comes from. Her family is direct descendants from the family of Sheikh Usman Dan Fodio. When the British came to Nigeria, they made the hijra away from the British and settled in Sudan. Okay, and this is what was foretold of by Sheikh Usman Dan Fodio when the British would come. So she's from that family. The second one is from the Sheikh Usman Dan Fodio's his uncle's son's children. You know what I mean? And so so they're not, they have different cultural norms. You know what I mean? They dress like Sudanese now because they become Sudanized. But as far as like all those practices that I just mentioned, none of that. You know what I mean? None of that. You know what I mean? Because they're just not having that. You know what I mean? It's they don't do that stuff. You know what I mean? They don't do that stuff.
I like your friend's style.
Hey, bro. Hey, he said, look it. He said, I ain't have it. I ain't the one. You know what I mean? And so, because if you already know what the outcome is going to be and how this is going to play out, of course, you're going to go ahead and free yourself from this situation, because if you don't do that now, then it's going to be a long drawn out situation. This happened to a family member of mine, an uncle to my Sudanese wife also. And in that particular situation, he just told her, okay, you need to have you need to have yourself home by this date. If not, I'm getting married again. You know what I'm saying? That's what he told her. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I told you where he from. And so, but the problem with this particular part of the family that he married from, this particular part of the family, they were they're from Sudan, but they were raised in Saudi Arabia and in that area in the Khalij. So a lot of that, they picked up a lot of that stuff from over there. And so he was, and so he was, man, he's like, y'all better have her on the next flight back. And if not, I ain't got no issue. You know what I mean?
Man, it's just very trauma, brother. Like I said, people make marriage more difficult than what it has to be.
Sometimes people do things like that because, with my situation, with my present divorce from my ex-wife, my mother-in-law, she's always, from what I understand, she's always sided with me. You know what I mean? But the ex-wife already has something in her mind, as far as what she already, perceives and how things are. So with that being said, it's not much anyone else could say. Even when I married her, she had already had 7 kids. And so even the kids were against a divorce. You know what I mean? But of course, you know what I'm saying? People, once they get their mind made up, they're going to do whatever they want to do.
Yeah, once it's in their mind, nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, it's a done deal. Yeah, it's a done deal. You know what I mean?
So,
and a lot of these issues, man, they go on and on and on. So much so to the point where, if you don't address it with the present situation that you're in, it's still going to fester over into the next situation, because it's not like you've been cured of this this type of thinking. Okay, it's going to be there. You know what I mean? And so it's unfortunate, but that is
unfortunate. But this is just the reality of things, and this is just part of the Shaitan's web to keep couples divorced.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
And unfortunately, couples, start listening to those whispers.
Yeah,
They listen to it.
yeah.
It can be a friend, it can be a relative, it can be a mother, it can be a father, just whispering in their ear, girl, you can do better. Girl, you don't need that. Man, another woman. You know what I'm saying? It's just
bruh. It was so bad. Look it, because the sister went back to the States, right? And so the situation was so it's my option to because I said, hey, you know what, if this is what you want, then okay. So I gave her the divorce, and so when I realized that she's making a bad choice, called her back and I said, hey, you know what, I'm taking you out of IDDA because this is gonna hurt you, and you don't really see it. I see it. She said, no, I already spoke to another sheikh, and he said I don't have to come out of IDDA because of what you say. You know what I mean? I said, whoa. I said, what sheikh are you talking about? She said, oh, this sheikh from Egypt. I said, okay, cool. I'm done with it because
you can get anything.
Yeah, if the information that I'm giving you is is not enough for you, then man, you guys got me wanting to drink. Okay, I'm sorry, I keyed it, brother said. Brother,
trust me, I understand.
The brother said, man, you guys got me wanting to drink. I'm sorry, my brother, but this how life be out here, man. See, Haroon, this other brother right here, Political Pete, he also he married in Sudan, and so his wife is Sudanese, my brother, and this other Haroon, his wife, is she from over there, you know what I'm saying? So he listening to this stuff saying, man, y'all gonna make a brother, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
It ain't all bad. I'm gonna put it like this.
Yeah.
It ain't all bad, but just be very mindful of the signs.
Yes, you got to be mindful of the signs. Yeah.
See, for me, my biggest mistake is that I really wasn't paying attention to it. I wasn't really taking it serious, Yeah. And I really wasn't paying attention to the sister's mental state, because the thing is, I was thinking the sister was getting help because she was going to a therapist. And then when I talked to her therapist, it's like, when the last time you talked to such and such? He's like, man, I ain't talked to her in a minute. Like, wait a minute, yo, you ain't talking to her. You haven't talked to her in a minute. He's like, yeah, I have not talked to her in a very long time. So when I told him about she wants a divorce, he's like, she didn't tell me that, because I went to him before. Also, we went for counseling when the death of the miscarriage and the death of my son. But then at the time my ex-wife was like, she's taking it as though we went to couple counseling. I said, the 5 years we were together, 5 years that we were in Kenya, we went to this guy maybe 3 or 4 times. And you count that as couple counseling? You know what I mean? That's not couple counseling. And I said, on top of it, you can't make nobody go to counseling when they're not ready. I wasn't ready to go to counseling. So what are you talking about? We did some reconciliation. So again, those are perceptions in her mind. So when I'm hollering at her therapist, she's like, nah, I haven't talked to her since her brother died, and that was in May.
SubhanAllah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, something ain't right about this. You know what I'm saying? Something ain't right about this. And even with him, he was trying to help me find a gig in Kenya. You know what I'm saying? So he was just like, you know what? And he's a Muslim. He's like, you know what? Because he went through it with his wife. He didn't work before he got his degree. He was out of work for almost 7 years in Kenya. trying to find a gig. Man, it ain't, bruh. It ain't easy finding a gig in Kenya.
That's why I'm not trying to get no job in Kenya, my brother.
It is not easy trying to get a job. You know, it is not easy.
Bruh, let me tell you what the plans are, okay? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scope the ground out temporarily. And after I scope what's out on the ground, then I'm looking at moves because I'm getting some different industrial machines and stuff like that. What I do need is brothers who are like-minded that want to make money. Okay, open up cafes, because what I do is I specialize in making bean pies, my brother. You know what I mean?
You know what?
Yeah.
Now,
let me finish. Now, what I specialize is the bean pie. So my whole ideal is this right here, and I'm not talking about in one place. I'm not talking about just doing it in Kenya. All right, open up cafes. All right, that have all of the different kinds of coffees: Kenyan coffee, okay, Turkish coffee, Americana, espresso, and Arabian coffee.
mm-hmm.
Okay, and all of the different kinds of bean pies. Okay, all right, and hook up cheesecakes and so forth. You know what I mean? And have it to where you have certain nights, poetry night. Okay,
Exactly.
so understand what I'm saying. My mind is already. I just need to keep. And so it's about, like I said before, it's about like-minded brothers putting a coin together, doing things that need to be, because we need to be moving out of while we're working. While we're working, we need to be moving out of working into entrepreneurial endeavors. And Africa right now is wide open for it.
Like,
okay,
let me share something with you.
Talk to me.
All right. 2 years ago, I kept telling everybody, hey, let's open up a virtual learning school. 2 years ago, nobody wanted to talk about it. I ain't have a white man with me, because that's the mentality. Unfortunately, that's the mentality of a lot of Africans, that you got to have a white man.
Big league. So if you don't have that, you need to do something else.
Exactly.
Because look, I done already in Sudan. I've been Abu Ilyas. You got to cut on your earphones and your microphone, my brother, in order for you to get in. Because right now your earphones and your mic ain't plugged up. So I've been with what you're talking about. You know what I mean? And I already know the outcome. Continue, my brother. I already know the outcome.
So now peep game. All right, I was dealing with a Kenyan. He's supposed to help me get some money, because the thing is I told him, look, we only need about 25 grand to start it up. We only really need about 20. We don't even really need that much money. I said, but we can use that 25. Go get the Chromebooks. I got all the systems set up for everything. It's going to be like a brick and mortar school. The difference is, though, everything is going to be online. We don't even need a teacher. We just need a facilitator. He was like, cool, because I told him how much money he can make.
Okay.
Of course, being a typical Kenyan, they want to do some side stuff. They want to do some illegal stuff. They want to do some like underhand stuff. So I left him alone. So I went back to all these other people, my wife, families and friends, my wife, father, who got money. And I pitched it to them. They're like, no, we ain't got no money. Now, coronavirus hit. Everybody I told about this, now all of a sudden they calling me. Like, hey, Haroon, can we still get that thing open? Can you still got the program? Do you still got it set up in America? I'm like, oh yeah, yes indeed. I said, now it's gonna cost you though.
Yeah, it's there. Yeah.
If you guys gonna try to open up a school, this is what I need from you. You got to put me as director.
There it is there.
And I'm running everything.
There it is there.
That's what I'm looking for. Period. So now we're in the works of doing that. And I'm also working with an American brother in Rwanda. He's an entrepreneur that I need to introduce you to also, because he's doing
Okay, mashallah.
too.
Abu
Now-
Ilyas is up in here now. Abu Ilyas, we see you in the house, my brother. Abu Ilyas is in the house.
So now, what you talking about doing these cafes? I was telling somebody back in Kenya, it's like, look,
Yes.
we can do some cafes, but of course, location is everything. You got to have a location. Now, the biggest problem that I kept running into while I was in Kenya is, one, I don't speak Swahili, so they automatically, the price is going to be inflated. You know what I mean? But that's cool. But the opportunity is there for
definitely
for cafes. And another thing I was trying to get people to do was fish farming.
Okay.
And I'm like, yo, we can make so much money doing fish, right? Like my white friend had some land that's not even been used, got access to water. And I'm like, yo, this is how much money we can make. Fish
bruh.
I don't know. I don't know if we can do it. And I'm like, yo, we got a large Chinese community here. We're not gonna sell to Kenyans. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're gonna sell only exclusively to the Chinese market. And I'm telling you, I know how the Chinese think, and I know how they act, and I know how they like to do business. And I know the type of food that they like. They want fresh fish. They don't want nothing dead. They don't want nothing frozen. They want fresh fish. And I said, look, all these restaurants that we got around here in Nairobi, to Lamu, up into Kasimu. I said, if we had a large enough base that we're producing enough fish, we're gonna make money. I said, look, this is how much we can make a week if we just start off small. I said, look, we can make around
we go
5,000 a week.
Okay, we gonna wrap this part up. Why? because this was the topic for last week. You know what I mean? And we done got off topic. The brother, right? He said, you brothers got to bring back the traits. You know what I mean? Because now what me and you got to do, Haroon, is that me and you need to kick back and we need to talk, man. That's definitely what we need to do. And so we just got this new brother, Abu Ilyas, just came up in here. I'm finna go ahead and mute my mic. Also, Haroon, go ahead and mute your mic so the brother Abu Ilyas can go ahead and break down for us his 5 character traits for a spouse.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can everybody hear me?
We hear you.
All right. First and foremost, I hope everyone is doing well. It's 11 o'clock where I'm at right now. I know everybody is all over the world right now, so I don't want to talk too much. I guess just wanted to start a conversation or like discussion, kind of see what everybody thinks. In terms of the 5 character traits, I just came on the show, so I really don't even know exactly what was said before me. But I just wanted to just start up a discussion in the sense that, when, and I just wanted to get people's opinions, right? Like, for example, let's just say when you get married to a girl, right? And obviously when you get married to the girl, you love the girl, you're everything for that girl. But then that girl also has a family, right? So I guess, and obviously we want to always be there for family, because family is family, right? If anything happens, God forbid, they're always there to support us and everything. But how does everybody feel when, like, say you married someone, but they're all up in your business, right? You just got married, but they want to know every single thing you guys are doing 24/7. Again, I'm all about family. I'm a big family guy. But how does everybody feel when family is like mingling into your internal affairs, right? Where like they're like to the point where they start to make decisions for you guys, like your own lives. So you don't even have time to actually bond with each other, right? Because the family is always like, hey, we want your time. So then you end up, not having that strong that bonding foundation, especially at the early. Like, I'm a big believer in the sense that, love family. Family is everything. But at least when you get married, at least give time for the two people, you know, to bond, to, you know, start building their lives. And then if they need help or anything like that, then obviously, like, ask the family for help, right? But at least, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is giving each other space is a good thing, is what I'm trying to say. But I wanted to get other people's, you know, views on that, right? How does everybody feel on, like, family being so involved in your lives where you guys can't even move unless you get another person's opinion, right? How does everybody feel?
Can I answer that?
Go ahead.
Anybody can answer that, man. It's all about discussions, man. That's all it is.
Okay. Now, my ex-wife family is Desi. They have Desi, have Somali. In other words, they're half Indian, half Somali.
Okay. So sorry, my brother George, to interrupt. I'm very sorry. By the way, how many people are up in this place today? I don't even know how many people. I just saw Brother George say, "Can I answer this?" So that's cool, though.
No. That's not. That's Brother Haroon. That's not George. I posted George's earlier comments about his 5 characteristics. This is Brother Haroon right here, okay? And so he's the one. Okay. He's the one answering your question.
Mashallah. Okay, I just don't know how many people up in this joint, right? It could be 1 million people, 2 million people. I want to know what's up. Where people at around the world?
We got 3 on
Where's
here.
Your time?
We got 3 that's speaking, and anyone else is coming in and going out. You know what I mean? We got the other brother Haroon, which is Paul McCray. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. That's cool. That's cool, man. That's good. I just want to know what we're dealing with. That's all. Go ahead.
Answer the question, Haroon.
All right. Because my wife family is mixed, and primarily, you know, she grew up on the Desi side. That was something I was expecting to happen with.
So let me get this right. So she's mixed. She's not. Right. She's not Kenyatta. She's not Kenyan.
No, she's not authentic. Well.
So she's half Somali,
and
half
Indian.
Half Indian. Okay.
Now, but put it like this.
Wow.
The Indian side of the family.
Go ahead. The Indian side.
That's a great. That's a great mix. Go ahead.
The Indian side of the family try to downplay their black side because they do have African ancestry. Because when their grandparents, their great grandparents came there doing for the railroad, you know how it was. You know, they had something on the side, so they try to downplay the African side of them. But anyway, when dealing with the Desi side of the family, they were always in the business. You know what I'm saying? They want to take up the time and blah, blah, blah. What I had to do is basically tell the sisters, like, look, this is what I'm expecting. We just got married. Okay, I understand that they want to spend time with you. But we need to spend time with each other to get to know each other. We just recently, we got to know each other likes and dislikes together. I said, we're in a honeymoon phase, but when this honeymoon phase run out and we dealing with each other, we got to be with each other and learn how to navigate.
Abu Ilyas, mute your microphone while the brother speaks. Sorry, Haroon. I'm telling the other brother to mute his microphone while you speak. Go ahead. Continue.
And so the sister, she understood that. And then I had to talk to the parents. I mean, especially the mom. I'm like, look, I'm not taking your daughter away from you, right? But you got to understand your daughter is married now. And I am your new son-in-law. And so I'm consider me like a son, not a son-in-law. But you also have to understand that we have time that we need to be spending together to get to know each other. So if she's here all the time and not at home, how are we getting to know each other? And I only see her when she comes home. And that's not going to work for us. And we need to spend time with each other so we can build a relationship and build a bond. We have a relationship, but now we need to really build like a very strong bond and foundation, because there's going to be some times with days that, you know, I might not be in the mood to have anybody at the house, plain and simple. You know what I mean? And you just popping up without asking me. I said, even though we live in We paying rent in your house though, but technically, you know what I'm saying? We paying rent at one of your houses that you letting us stay in, but that's technically though, I'm still the man in the house. You know what I mean? And Islamically, regardless who house it is, whatever goes, you know, I get the last say. Period. So if I don't want anybody at the house, you know what I'm saying? I don't want nobody at the house, and it's nothing personal. So it's not like the sister, and I said the sister got to check in. If I'm home and I don't feel like being bothered, ain't nobody coming, period. If I'm in one of those moods, and vice versa. And I said, when dad's here, when he don't want to be bothered with nobody, guess what? We all leave. You know what I'm saying? And I said, the house is in your name. Right? She's like, yeah, the house is in his, you know, it's in my name. So technically, it's your house because it's in your name. I said, but when he don't want nobody at the house, he don't want your brother there, he don't want your sister there, he don't want the kids there, guess what? Ain't nobody coming, right? She's like, yeah. I said, it's the same thing. Plain and simple. So the mother-in-law, you know, she understood, like, okay, you know, they're a young couple, got married, let's pull it back. So after I had that discussion with, you know, the mother-in-law, everything stopped. And she used to check in. Hey, is it okay if I come over? Is it okay for, you know, so-and-so to come through? I'm like, yeah, ain't no problem. You know, and then I can count on my time through the 10 years that we've been married, and the 5 times in the 5 years that I lived in Kenya, it's only one time that I ever said, no, I don't want nobody here. Only one time. But the thing is, they checked in. That's the whole thing. Even her friends, they checked in. It's like, it's okay, you know, or my wife would give me the heads up, you know, so-and-so is coming over. Is that all right? Yeah, it's all right, you know. And then after a while, you know, she tried to, you know, forgot to ask, like, yeah, so-and-so is coming over. And I said, what? Wait a minute, hold up. Who? So-and-so is coming over. And I said, but you didn't ask. But it wasn't a problem then. Why is it a problem now? I said, well, maybe I don't want nobody here. And that's not going to turn into an argument. So either you can call and let them know not to come through, or I'll call and tell them not to come through. Choice is yours. I'm just not in one of those moods today. I don't want to be bothered with anybody. Plain and simple. And it's not open for discussion. It's not an argument. And, you know, of course, she was angry, mad at me for a couple of weeks, but it is what it is, you know. And as Muslims, you know, especially Muslim men, we have to understand our role, and women have to understand their roles. At the end of the day, it's our last word, period. Right or wrong, it's our last. We get the last say. And a lot of times, a lot of brothers don't like doing that because they want to keep the friction down. And sometimes it ain't about friction. You know, it's about what you're entitled to and what your rights are. Sisters are so quick to say, well, it's my right when it's convenient. But then when the brothers are like, yo, this is what a law decree and is my right, what are we talking about then? It shouldn't even be in discussion. What are we talking about? Right? So that worked for me. I don't know about anybody else. I can say that worked for me.
For me, like I said, man, early on, I had some issues concerning that in Sudan, but not from you know, the family like that, because they just didn't roll like that. You know what I mean? And you know, aunties and stuff like that try to roll through, but they just didn't roll like that. Like I said, it's a particular group of we spoke about this before, and the brother wasn't on. Right. There's a particular groups of people, and they come from Shamalia, from the north, that actually they have these character traits. You have another group of people that come from the area called Jazeera, okay, in Sudan. Not Jazeera Arabia, like in Jazeera in Sudan. There's a place called Jazeera in Sudan also. And so this particular people, they are called Olad Awad, Maruf bil Olad Awad, okay? Mm-hmm. So these people will show up. They just come from the village and just show up at your house out of nowhere. And so you may be hosting these 4 or 5 men at your house that just showed up without no notice. And when you ask them, why they came down, they may have a small container and they say, oh, so-and-so said to bring you this rattle of milk. You know what I'm saying? So they've made a reason to come down, you know what I mean? And to be all up in your business, like the brother said, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes you unfortunately, just how certain people are, it depends on culturally where you're from. You know what I mean? According to Islam, people do have rights upon you. A visitor does have 3 days, okay? But how and where the visitor should stay, okay? I don't know how houses are built in Kenya and other places, but the way they're built in Sudan, like the house that I'm building, is that you had the main house where the women are, and then you have another house, a room where visitors and all men and they stay in that section. So any visitors that come to that house will be in this particular section over here. Okay. And it's just certain things that you need to arrange and set up so that you don't have and so even the houses that I'm building in Sudan are arranged and set up like that. You know what I mean? Where even if I have females that were at my house or going to be at my house, I have an area where they can stay for the night that ain't gonna be, ain't gonna interfere with my situation in my house. You know what I mean? And so I think it has to do with how you establish certain things or how you run your household. I think what the brother is concerned with or speaking on is that he is a newlywed. And so, as he said he's a newlywed, and that he feel that just like you said, that in this beginning stages, we need as much time as possible. You know what I mean? Because we need to know each other. You know what I mean? And so, which is very important, you know what I mean, for a brother to get to know his wife. You know what I mean? It's that's really important. You know what I mean? So that when problems do occur, you guys are able to work out those issues and get back to some normality. You know what I mean? But if you never get to know each other, and I think that may be an issue of concern, issue of concern also, is that some people don't get to a point of learning their spouse. You know what I mean? They may be in a state or in a situation where they never get there. You know what I mean? So that becomes an issue at times. So that's what I would say about it. You know what I'm saying? I don't really have anything else to say about it. With the new, because like I said, I just got married, and I basically set up a time period where we really need to we need to try to understand and try to know each other. You know what I mean? And so about a year, you know what I mean? And in that year of time, yeah, brother, you could speak. What you waiting on, my brother? Your brother.
Okay. So yeah, salam alaikum. I'm so sorry. This is my first time on this, and I love it, but I just don't know how it works. So I'm like, can I speak? I'm trying to talk.
Right in there. Jump right in there, my brother. Jump right in there.
Oh, okay. I thought this was like Zoom, where like they just turn off your mic or something. Yeah.
This brother right here, brother Haroon. This is a brother Dawood. This brother right here is out of Canada. Okay. He's also in Kuwait over here with a brother. He is your relative by way of long distance. He is from Canada, but he's Somalian. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So go ahead, brother. Give us what you got.
I appreciate all of you guys, my brother. Yeah. So like, so how does it like? How do you guys feel when like, say, you know, say for example, the you know the rights. Obviously, we always want to give rights to the wife and everything, right? That's obviously. But let's just say if like other family members, like let's just say like the wife's dad, for example, doesn't give you your rights, as an example, where
Okay.
and say
Be specific, so we can give you we can give specific understanding here. All right. When you say
right.
don't get your
Uh,
right, what you
yeah,
mean?
I'll give you example. So let's just say you and your wife are at home,
Uh-huh.
and her dad says come to the house, and then you say to your wife, no sweetheart, tonight we're going to stay home, right?
Okay.
And then imagine if like the girl sides with her dad, say, hey, I'm leaving, I'm going to the dad's house. Like, how does everybody feel about that, like in terms of like your rights are not being respected as a man?
Hey, bro.
Hmm.
That's for me. For me, that ain't happening. I'm just letting you straight out. I'm letting you know straight out. You know what I'm saying? That ain't happening. You know what I mean?
I'm just
You
letting you
know,
know that ain't that ain't
that ain't happening. I ain't having it.
my suggestion, man. You just gotta have a man-to-man talk with your father-in-law. You know,
Yeah.
that's what it's gonna have to come down to. You're just gonna have to have a man-to-man talk with your father-in-law and just explain to him, like, yo, your daughter's married now. She got responsibilities at home.
Yeah.
It's okay for her to come by every once in a while, but she can't just stop doing what she's doing here on the drop of a whim because you say so. Unless it's an emergency, I can understand if it's an emergency. If it ain't an emergency, man, you can catch her tomorrow. I'm not saying put it that way. Be more tactful in how you present yourself. You just need to have a man-to-man talk with your father-in-law. And you gotta understand that as men, also, our little girls. That's our little girl. And just the very idea that she's married, it bothers us to some degree. She's married, sex, who knows, that bothers the psyche of a man. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of things swimming in his head, unfortunately, but that's just what's going on, So you just need to have that talk and understand where he's coming from too. That's his little girl. And you took his little girl away from him. Now you're the man of her life. And when he's always been the man in her life, now she's been replaced. And you just got to have that discussion. You're like, I'm not replacing you. I'm not here to replace you.
Trying to fulfill what you started.
Right. If anything, you gain a son. So that's just how you have to put it to him. Like, you gain a son. I mean, your daughter's married now, but you also gain a son. And, you can rely on me and call on me if you need me to do anything, but right now your daughter is married, and you have to understand that she's married, and you raised her right to respect her elders and respect her father. But you also have to understand that she's married now. She has to respect my wishes too. I'm her husband, and I'm
right. But right, and I'm so sorry to cut you off there, Brother Paul, right?
Haroon.
No.
Brother Haroon.
Yeah, Brother Paul ain't
Oh,
his name. You don't see his name tag up there, my brother?
No, I just see him, but I don't see the name pop. Oh, brother, now I see it. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I guess sorry to interject, but what happens if like the father doesn't want to give up that? I don't know. I understand you're saying like, hey, let him understand that she's married, and I get all that, and I agree with you. But what about if he doesn't want to give it up, and he looks at it as a power struggle, and he raises girl saying that, hey, my word goes. That's it. Whether you get married or not, my word goes.
But see, the problem with that, he's going to understand it's going to cause a problem, and then she will be back at home permanently. Because at the end of the day, you a man.
Yeah.
You a man.
Just like he a man.
And you're not going to allow somebody to disrespect you. I mean, that's just what it boils down to. You a man, and you're not gonna continue to allow somebody to disrespect you. Ain't no power struggle here. It ain't about a power struggle. It's what it's about is that we are Muslim. And this is what the dean said.
You
Now,
guys
if you don't
continue. I'm
follow
gonna just take a
what the dean
second.
said, then
Continue. I'm gonna
you know
take a
what?
second.
Take your daughter home with you. Plain and simple. Because if you don't nip in the bud now, some other things gonna come up where he's gonna start disrespecting you as a man, that he can feel he can just cross that line, that he can just disrespect you as a man. It ain't, and now he's
Right.
calling her to do this, and then he's gonna be calling her to do that, and then she's going against your word. It's just gonna cause more and more problems. Try to nip it in the bud as best way you can.
Right. And what about if he takes it to the end?
You just have to take it to the end. I mean, it's like how much you willing to tolerate and put up with disrespect. That's how you have to look at it. How much you're willing to put up with. If you're not willing to put up with, if you want to put up with like 60% of it, that's on you. If you want to put up 80%, that's on you. If you want to put up 0%, again, that's on you. It's exactly how much you're willing to tolerate.
Right, but if you give up 1%, he wants the whole 99. He
Again,
wants everything.
it's what you're willing to tolerate. You know, some people are not willing to tolerate any form of disrespect. Some people like, I let it slide every once in a while, but after a while, you know, we got to talk. You know, and how many times are going to be willing to have that conversation with him about the same thing over and over and over again? And then how many times are going to have that conversation with your wife about the same thing over and over and over again? Then it's going to start causing problems, because then she's going to feel like she's stuck in a hard place where she don't want to disrespect her husband and she don't want to disrespect the father, and she's trying to please both of them, and she's getting torn in between the two men, which is going to boil down to ego. That your father got an ego, you know, and that's what he's pulling. It's just he's just ego tripping, like he's trying to, you know, show you who's the boss. Like, I'm her daddy, so she's gonna listen to me. And he just got to understand, as Muslims, though, we don't do stuff like that. You know, if you really respecting the deen, gonna follow the deen and follow the sunnah of the sunnah and what Allah decreed, he can't be pulling stuff like that. Can't be pulling stuff like that, and that's just what it boils down to. And my biggest suggestion is bring it back to the deen. You know what I'm saying? Just keep talking about deen. You know, and if they're not from a religious family, bring them the literature about what a wife responsibility is, and what a son-in-law responsibility is, and what a father-in-law responsibility is, and where there's a line where they just don't cross. You have to bring the literature in. You got to bring everything you're saying, back it up with proof from the Sunnah, and also
right.
From the Quran. And if he's not willing to respect that, you're like, yo, you know, man, I love your daughter, but I can't tolerate this. You know, she can come back home with you full time, and you know, we just have to let it go. But you gotta understand, you caused this. Now, do you want to have your daughter resenting you for breaking up a happy home because of your ego? You know, I mean, that's how you might have to present it, because it ain't with so much disrespect you don't take it.
Right. So let me just put it out there for you guys, brother Abu Naima and brother Harun. What about if he just flats out looks at you in the eye and say, "Hey, my word goes, and if you want to divorce her, you can. I want my daughter home."
Now, see,
what you gonna do?
No.
If it was me, I'm gonna say like this right here. We got some brothers hold out. We coming to your question. We got some brothers say, Kenya, bro. Harun should have picked up a few Kenyans there. All right. And then we going over here. The brother said, the father-in-law needs to respect your home. Take a rain check. Other one says, after all, the father-in-law gave her to you.
Exactly.
Okay? That is it. It says she needs to explain to her father that she needs to respect
her man,
what her husband, her man said, and that she'll come over another time and another day. You know what I'm saying?
Mashallah, how many more brothers joined the conversation? This is crazy, but I love it.
This is my cousin right here, DeFonca Vinci. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
And
Okay. I thought it was just us three, but I love it.
No, my brothers, is other people that's coming in. You might have people come in and go out. And what you need to do is both of y'all make sure you share the link to friends and family and stuff like that. So it's gonna be up on my YouTube channel tomorrow. And we're gonna get back on here next week, and we're gonna continue on because relationship gonna take a turn. You know what I'm saying? Because now we just talking about the character traits. We're gonna vamp up into we're gonna morph into a whole nother session. Because you can't talk about relationships and not talk about polygamy. You can't talk about relationships, you know what I'm saying, and talk about all the other ins and outs, my brother. So, you know, this is just the beginning. And I think when we get into the topic of the polygamy, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have some sisters chime on in and give their opinions as far as things that they dislike concerning certain issues. You know how it be. You know, we always got some issues that people don't like. So, you know, and it's also good for like my cousin George D. Foncavinci. He's not Muslim, so all this is good for him before he goes to Africa, so that he understands how African life is. Because I told him, I said, man, you got Christians in Africa, man. They got more than one wife over there. You know what I'm saying? That's an African practice. You know what I mean? They ain't got nothing to do with Islam. You know what I mean? So, you know, all of this is very important. And I know it's getting late. And
but Abu Naima, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to get to what brothers were saying just on this part. So brothers were saying like, oh, explain to the girl, but what about if the girl really loves you, but at the final thing is the dad looks in the eye and says, hey man, my word is gonna go, and if you don't want that, divorce her for me, she's staying home. I just want to get your reaction. That's really what I want. Brother Harun's reaction, Abu Naima, what you gonna do? And anybody else, what would they do? That's all.
I'm divorcing her, bro. I'm letting it go. Because you can't have two, like Brother Harun said in the beginning, you can't have two people in charge. It's just automatic. Can't have two people in charge, man. I'm letting her go.
What about you, Harun?
Man, you know, the way I am, I'm real quick to say, man, you on some pedophilia or something? You want her home? What are you talking about? You just gave it to me. What are you talking about, man? Who are you talking about? You gave it. Now you want to take her back. You on some pedophilia or something? I mean, what's really going on? I need to know something. No, I'm just kidding. I ain't gonna say nothing like that. But you know, you know what you probably have to do is also you don't mind me asking, what's the ethnic background?
Can we just skip that, please? If that's okay.
No, but you gotta. The reason why I'm asking it because that's very
important for the answer. Yeah, it's important for the answer.
That can have a lot to do with it too. So the reason why I'm bringing that up, if you can find somebody within the family that you can trust, that you're real cool with, that can talk to the father and reason with the father, that might help your case too.
No, but let's say that she loves you, but at the end of the day, you know, she's just scared of her father because the father is like, listen, you're my daughter, or else don't ever talk to me again.
Then so be it,
hey, bro.
So be it. You know, because now it's like this. What it's gonna boil down to? Because now he on some he's ego tripping. Because that's what it sounds like to me. He ego tripping. Because he's trying to show you who's the boss. And your daughter loves her father, but she's scared of her father at the same time. And that ain't cool. You shouldn't be scared of your father. You shouldn't be scared of your mom. You know, you shouldn't use fear to get somebody to love you. So you need to get your wife to understand that too. Like he's playing with you, he's playing mind games with you. He's doing some Jedi mind tricking that you falling for it. Right? So you got to get her to understand that too. Like this ain't healthy. That you got to be scared and love your father at the same time. That's not healthy. And that goes against the Sunnah too. It goes against what Allah tells us as Muslims, how we supposed to raise our daughters and raise our sons. That goes against Islam, period. So, you know, if he ain't
No,
willing,
and yeah, and sorry to interrupt my brother Harun, but he just says, and he gives her an ultimatum, right? You with me or you with him? That's it.
Hey,
so
bro,
be it.
she done already chose to be with you.
Exactly. So it
now,
is
now,
what it is.
now,
He
let
already
me say
chose.
this right here. Yeah, let me say this right here. Okay. I've had two situations like this right here. Okay. And in all of these cases, it's been drama like this right here. Okay. I just got married and the situation was similar. Okay. But sometimes if the woman is ready to take that step, it's no such thing as I'm a disrespect my husband and not listen to him and not obey him and listen to my dad. Okay. Now, there has to be an understanding of what everyone's rights are. Okay. And the father does have rights, but once the husband becomes the one taking care of her, the husband has to be obeyed. Okay. According to the law, according to the Islamic law, there's a thing called nashes. Okay. And if the woman leaves her husband's house without permission, she becomes nashuz, which is called disobedient. Okay. Now he can pose a case to the court, and the court can actually return her back home, and then admonish the father and say, "Hey, you can't be doing this right here. Why'd you take her home anyway?" You know what I mean? And so, this is how that should be really addressed through the courts, because the court should address the father, and then once that's done, if you got to go to that extent, because like Harun said in the beginning, you should be able to talk to the father. You know what I mean? Now, when it came down to my particular situation, the father didn't want the girl to marry me, okay? And he didn't have a good reason why. All right. And so, yeah, he didn't have a good reason why. He just like, nah, you got to marry from us. And if you ain't married from us, then, I'm and already she was like, that's not what I want to do. You know what I mean? And so she made her choice. And so the father, like you said, he said, if you do this, you ain't my daughter no more. She's like,
Ultimatums.
cool. Look at, she like, cool then. So you have to look at the situation and kind of realize that who is being un-Islamic here, because a man can't disown his daughter and she all of a sudden don't become his daughter. You know what I mean? I mean, come on. I mean, that's, that ain't got nothing to do with it. Yeah, that ain't got nothing to do with Islam. You know, you gonna disown your daughter? You know what I mean? So,
right. Islam is so beautiful. It's such a beautiful religion, and it gives everyone its rights, and it's truly beautiful in every way. But it just, there's a lot of people out there that are, I'm not going to say a lot, sorry, I'm going to say some, that are hypocrites. They have an Islamic name, they talk Islamic, but in the home and action, they don't. Their action is not Islamic. They do infringe on other people's rights, and it's the sad thing. Right. So I just want to just the last thing was, and then what happens if he just gives you guys that ultimatum, right? It says, listen, my daughter is staying home. And now he gives you the ultimatum as a husband, divorce her because she's not coming back to your house.
Well,
what would you guys do?
Again, you the man, right? Ain't no other man give you an ultimatum.
There it is. I done said what I do.
Ain't no other man give you an ultimatum. You ain't gonna tell me what I better do and what I better do. With with your daughter, like telling me, yeah, go divorce my daughter because I'm telling you that's an ultimatum. Really? You gave her to me, now you want her back? Nah, that ain't happening.
No, but she doesn't come back to your house though, because she's not letting her leave.
And that's kidnapping.
Yeah, that's
that's kidnapping.
Yeah. That's wild right there. Hey, man.
That's against the law anywhere. That's kidnapping.
Now, let me say this right here, man. And this happened in Sudan to me, man. I had a mother-in-law one time infringe upon my situation. She got in my wife's ear and she told her, I'm in town. You need to come over to your sister's house. We need you to help out over here. Didn't get permission from me and left and went over there. When I came home, I asked my other wife, where is so-and-so? Said she left. She went to her sister's house. I said, cool. And you know, I'm not gonna go run out looking for you because that ain't what I do. You know what I mean? You came to be with me because you wanted to be with me. Okay. So 3-4 days went by. I don't show up. So now the mom presses the situation and makes it bigger. She calls down to the village, calls the dad, you know, trying to work her magic. We got a situation down here. You need to hurry up and get down here, Sheikh. You know, his name is the Sheikh. So he comes down from the village, and I get a phone call because the mom knows she ain't gonna call me because I done already let her know that you can't be coming over my house whenever you want to. You know what I'm saying? And so he calls and says, Salaam alaikum. I said, Walaikum assalam, Sheikh, what's going on? He said, I need to see you. I said, where are you at? He said, I just got here. I'm in the city. I said, oh, really? He said, yeah. I said, where you at? He said, I'm over so-and-so's house, which is his other daughter's house. I said, okay, no problem. I'll be over there. So I called my boy up, also from California. And I said, man, we need to go over here, man. This thing about to come to a head. Let's roll up over here. So we roll up over there. The mother-in-law is all up in his ear, dropping little, you know, I'm just sitting back. I ain't saying nothing because the truth is already on my side because I didn't give her permission to leave my house anyway. And so he says, well, you know, she's been over here all this time. You didn't come look for her. I said, it's not my duty to come look for her. Okay. It's my duty for her to do what I tell her to do. Okay. And then he said, okay, so, you know, what are we going to do? I said, we ain't going to do nothing. I'm finna go back home. And y'all going to send her home with me. Like you're supposed, like you should, I shouldn't even be over here. Okay. And then the mother-in-law says, well, if he wasn't coming to look for her, that means he don't really care. I said, no, that's not what it means. It means that I'm not playing the games that you want me to play. And then I turned to the husband of the other wife, whose house she's in. I looked at him and I looked at his cousin, the older cousin, and I said, as long as y'all shelter my wife, Allah's wrath will come on your house. I said, I'm going home. And so because there are people that fear God and they know what I'm saying is true, he said, get your bags, get out. In front of her mother and her, you know, and I just waited at the door. Come on, man, let's go. And I ain't saying nothing else because I'm not going to sit up here and fuss with you about my rights when I already have these rights. You gave me these rights, but now you want to sit up here and debate because you feel that I owe you something. I don't owe you anything. Everything that I owed you, I gave it to you already. So people do things like this for whatever reason they may want something from you. And so, like the brother said, he said she wanted to leave home. That's one of the reasons why she got married. She didn't get married for any other reason than the fact that she's trying to leave home. Okay.
True, but the thing is, sorry to interrupt, but the thing is, she agrees with her dad, right? Because she's afraid of him.
But you just said it though. She's agreeing with her dad because she's afraid of him.
Right.
And it's out of fear.
Right. So then he gives you the ultimatum and he lets you know she ain't coming back to your house. So divorce her. So what you guys going to do? Divorce or no?
No, I ain't. No, me. Ain't no other man gonna give me no ultimatum. That's just me.
So
I ain't gonna.
So what are you gonna do? So no. Harun said no, right?
No, not me.
Like I said, my whole thing is that I'm gonna tell my wife point blank, like I did before. Come on, let's go. If not, I'm leaving her there. Okay. The issue here is her disobedience now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the disobedience has to be taken up with the court. Okay. Now, if you go ahead and you go to court, you open up a case and say that, Sister's not Nash's, you know what I mean? They're going to go and find out why she Nash's. Because, oh, my mom told me to come over here. No, your mom can't tell you what to do. You have to obey your husband. This is in a country that's practicing laws of Islam, like Sudan. When it comes down to marital situations, that's how they get out. And like the brother said, look at the comment from the brother. He said you should look for someone who's not lost. So the person ain't lost. So ain't no need looking for them. You already know where they at. You know what I mean? Because they supposed to be in your house. Especially if she's your wife. You know what I mean? So
Right.
Right.
Like as brother Harun said, you're not going to divorce her. But then what benefit is it for you to be married to someone that's not in your house?
You missed the conversation earlier, and we talked about this. This same topic came up earlier, and the same woman that I'm speaking of, my first wife, her uncle got this same ultimatum, and he told his own family, because he had married his cousin or something like that. He told his own family that either she gonna be here at home by this day, or I'm getting married again, and I'll wait. Hey, you know what I'm saying? So
so I got it. So just stay married to her, and just get married to another one.
Hey, ultimatum. Right? He gave you an ultimatum. Give them an ultimatum.
Ultimatum. See, for me, ain't nobody gonna. Like I said, ain't no other man gonna tell me what I'm gonna do. That's the first place. Ain't nobody gonna give me no ultimatum. Like, yeah, I'm gonna listen to you, and then you up here got my wife, and how I'm looking at it though. You up here putting fear in my wife by telling her you're going to disown her. What kind of man is you? Now I'm going to lose a little respect for you now. You know what I mean? That you're going to use fear to control somebody. Nah, you gave her to me. Now you want her back. And if you, and the type of person I am, if you talk a little slick with me, I would say, what you on some pedophilia stuff on? I would say that. If you talk greasy with me, I might slip that out. What, you trying to screw your daughter or something? What's going on here? Something I need to know about? That's just gonna create another problem. I ain't even saying you should say that. Don't say it, but I would. But the thing is, if you want to keep her, and fight for your family. And I tell a lot of brothers this: divorce is easy. Marriage is hard.
It's hard. Yeah.
And Allah tells us that marriage is hard. Even the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he always said, and it's a battle that we go through every day. If you marry, divorce is easy because you just gonna walk away. Staying with somebody is hard, and Allah decreed for us to be married for a reason, and that's to fight for our family. And just giving it up so easy, you ain't fighting. And see, I'm a fighter, so I ain't gonna give up that easy. Ain't nobody gonna tell me, you just send her home. You know what I'm saying? No, I ain't doing that because you gave her to me. Now that I have her, I'm keeping her. Until I'm, as long as I'm not beating her, disrespecting her, treating her ill will, doing all the things that's un-Islamic, I'm keeping her. Now, what you gonna do? We can take it to.
But how you keeping somebody that I know? But how you keep? Right. So how you keeping someone that's not with you? It's just difficult.
You gotta understand. You gotta look at
the idea
too. You gotta look at the psychology behind it. Your wife is being held against her will, and she's scared because these are the only parents that she ever known. She don't know no other parents. So when her father's saying, "I'm gonna disown you," oh, he gonna disown her. But then that means you got to step up as a man and make sure whatever he said negative about you, that you don't live up to it. You got to prove everybody wrong, that she's the woman for you and you're the man for her, period. And it's you and her against the world. That's including family. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, and I had to bring up ethnicity because I learned that too. Because my first wife was an Arab, my second wife is mixed, Desi, whatever you want to call it. But they do that type of stuff in those communities where the men use psychological, or we like to say mind games in America, to control their daughters. Women do it too, but I've noticed in a lot of those cultures they use mind games to try to control their daughter. You don't want to do this for me, I'm gonna disown you. I got a friend right now, she's Palestinian, ain't never been to Palestine, but her father still have that old mentality. Her and her husband, he was going oops upside her head. He was beating her, but because this is the man that he picked, and when she filed a divorce, the father disowned her.
Wow.
Flat out.
Wow.
She was going over to her pop's house like, he's beating me, he's using drugs, he's cheating on me, yada, yada, yada. And the father was like, suffer. Because this is the man he picked. Not because his daughter is being beaten, it's because of his ego wouldn't allow him to make a mistake, that he made a mistake picking the wrong man for his daughter. And then she finally had to get divorced from him and put a restraining order on him. Father disowned her. And the brothers disowned her, and her sisters disowned her. Her whole family disowned her. But she's standing on her feet, and she said, only thing that got me through it was the deen. And actually following and believing what the law says. That's the only thing that got her through it. She's happy now. So that's
Iman, yeah.
SubhanAllah. SubhanAllah. That's a deep one there, my brother. SubhanAllah. Y'all see the time? Y'all see the time up in here, brother? It's getting late. It's almost 12. And
right, brother. Sorry, brother George said it sounds like she's using her father to say it.
Yep. And let me go back to the last comment. He said when a woman fixes her lips to even mention that she wants to leave, she decided that move a long time ago. And she was just waiting for the right time to say it. Okay.
We were just talking about that.
It sounds like she's using her father to say it. So in other words, she's saying it through her dad, and it's probably just a scheme to see what can we get out of the brother, or what can we make him do? You know what I mean? Or like I said before you got on, like some of the grandmothers do in Sudan. They say to their daughters, we're going to help you wear him like a ring, just like this. And so if the father can beat you down and make you surrender, then you're going to be just like this on her finger.
Yep, wrapped around it.
You know.
So I guess the best thing in this situation is maybe say bye-bye.
Hey.
No. Remember, divorce is next to church is the most hated thing from the law. So my suggestion is try to figure out work it out the best way you can. If you have to get the courts involved, you got to get the imam involved. You got to get other people involved, then that's what you need to do. Because I'm telling you from my experience, and this is my second marriage, it ain't fun, brother. It is not fun going through a divorce. It is never fun. And when your family is separated, even if y'all have kids and don't have kids, it's always going to be in the back of your mind of what you should have done to fight harder for your family. Like I told you earlier, walking away is easy. But you got to make sure when you do pull the plug that you did everything in your power to try to save it. And that's what the law tells us in the Quran that we need to do. Do everything in your power to save it from getting divorced. And if you did, and you still have to wind up that way, go ahead.
Yeah.
Fight. Make sure you fight first. Make sure you fight tooth and nail to save your family. Because you got to remember, this is your family.
The brother said, ask her, what does she want to do?
That's a good question too. And if she said, well, she wants divorce, ain't nothing you can do about that. Because once a woman make up her mind, that's it.
Yeah. If that's where she at, then
And I experienced that. I'm telling you from experience. I experienced that recently. When we were talking about perceptions too, whatever a woman perceives in her head, and that's just her perception. Ain't nothing you can do about it.
because once her mind is made up,
That's
she's
it.
going every action that she does moving forward is moving towards that perception of you. And so there's nothing you can do. Like I told him, I said, you know, I just gotten remarried, but me getting remarried was something that my wife put into motion 10 years ago. This is a phobia, a fear of hers, even though she a second wife. She was a second wife, but it's a fear of hers. And her mom told her in the beginning, this is what her mom told her. Her mom told her, you have to understand that this man has been practicing polygamy, and that's how you became a wife. Don't get so spun out to the point where you can't deal with the reality and you create a false reality in your mind that you want him to live by.
Don't work that way. It just don't work that way.
And once you do that, what you do is, and I think, you know, the mom, by saying that, put on her a particular level of, you know, once that fear come, you know, I was getting accused of stuff like I could be driving down the street, driving a car, and she's in the passenger side. Why are you looking at that girl? She's crossing the street. I gotta look not to hit her. It's like, come on, you know what I mean? And so any direction that I'm looking in, she's trying to look to see what I'm looking at. That's how spun out. How am I going to marry somebody on the side of the road? That don't even make sense. But when you got your mind made up that he's always looking at women, he's always this, he's always that. Look at, I'm the kind of dude, for the last 20 years, I don't even go out at night unless I'm going out with family. You know what I mean? That's just how I am. When I go out at night, I'm going out with family to go eat or something like that, or I'm coming home from work. That's just how I am. But once a person has a perception of you in their mind, there's nothing you could do to shake that, partner. Yeah, it's nothing you could do, because that becomes the mindset that becomes permanent. Once it becomes permanent, it's a fixture. They're only waiting for you to do something, and everything that you do, they look at it as a step towards that. Even if you ain't doing nothing, even if you ain't doing nothing, they still perceive it as a step towards that, because that's just where their mind is. That's how they see you. And I talked about this another time, is that a lot of people imprint upon other people their perceptions. And so that when you don't become a woman may get with you, and when she get with you, or a man may get with a woman, and they don't accept that person for what that person is at that particular time. And so what they do now is that they put a projection as to how they plan on changing that person. And like we said in the beginning, if you 40 years old or 30 years old and you get married, you are who you are. You are who you are. Now you may read some Quran, you know what I'm saying, and you doing your regular ibadah and stuff like that, and it's going to fine tune your character. But who you are is who you are. Umar never stopped, radiallahu anhu, never stopped being Umar. You understand my point here?
Never.
Abu Bakr never stopped being Abu Bakr, and Ali never stopped being Ali. You know what I mean?
True.
And so Umar's nature was a very rough and tough nature. All the women was afraid when he spoke. Why? Because that's just how he was. Okay. But that didn't mean that he wasn't kind. Okay. So who you are at 40 or at 30, that's pretty much who you are. When a woman get with you and she puts a projection as to how she gonna change you and try to go ahead and get you to be that ring or whatever else they trying to get you to be, those were the complications coming in at. Okay. that's where the complications come in at, because you know, you can be broken. A man can be broken. Don't get me wrong, but you know, yeah, I'm just not the one. I'll be honest with you. I can't see how. Hey, I can't do it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I can't do it. You know what I mean? So, and Allahu Alam, Allah knows best as far as what's the my cousin said he says, I've experienced it. She wanted to move on, and that's what made my divorce go easy. I am not going to try to make a queen stay if she don't want to.
And that was my same thing too.
Yeah.
My wife got divorced. I didn't
ask her. Yep. That's why he said ask her.
I didn't fit it.
Ask her. Yeah, you got to ask her. And so, he said then years later, she tried to come back. Look at here. And I don't go backwards, my brother. It was a wrap for me. You know what I mean? Because once they get on the other side, they realize that the green is not as the grass is not as green as they thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
And they try to come back, okay? And if you have experienced any elements of relief from that person going, you need to understand that the things that caused you from growing was the projection that person put on you. And so because they tried to imprint upon you what it is, their perceptions of you. You know what I mean?
He hit it right on the nail, because as we were going, as I was going through the divorce with my wife, I started thinking about like, damn, I did do this. I did do that. I had to stop that. Be like, wait a minute. No, I didn't. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why am I beating myself up? And then whenever we have a conversation, it's about what I've done wrong. And that's because the perception that she put and try to put on me to have me thinking that I was a terrible man that she married. It's like, nah, time out. I ain't nothing like that, because that was her perception. These are perceptions that she put in her mind for her to believe in whatever it is. Because I mean, when I talk to her family, I talk to her friends, they don't even get why we got divorced. Yeah. Even to this day, they like, she owns something. You know what I mean? They like, she owns something. I don't know. But the only thing they did was like, we're just going to support her. And she want to get divorced, we just support it. But why? Don't make sense. Even her therapist didn't even understand why she wanted to get divorced. But perception.
Yeah.
Just her perception. And you know what? I'm good.
And I guess just to add to that, I guess Shaitan always whispers in the ears, right? And then the Shaitan, when a divorce happens, he puts the biggest crown on that Shaitan's head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, straight up. I put it like this, brother. For me and my wife's situation, Shaitan can become in many forms. You know what I mean? It don't necessarily have to be the spirit itself of Shaitan, but it can be a friend.
It could be a person. There it is. Shaitan.
It could be her father-in-law. Sorry, the son of her father.
It could be. I'm serious. It could be, because you got people out here don't want you happy.
There it is. There, man.
And I can say that I can attest to that. The moment that it was announced that we were getting divorced, you wouldn't believe how many people were happy behind that. And how many people, when I came back to America and I told some people, you wouldn't believe how many people was kind of relishing that we were getting divorced.
Yeah.
People that's Shaitan right there.
People that you think you're cool with at the masjid, y'all giving salams to, smiling in your face. You'd be surprised how many people don't want to see you happy, including my wife's friends too. And looking back in retrospect, majority of her friends are single. All professional women, Muslim women, all professional and single. Yeah. And how she found this American man, who love her for who she is and respect her, and he ain't on this ego trip and nothing like that. A lot of them sisters were jealous that she was happy. A lot of them. So you got to understand that. that comes with the territory. And that's when I go back to you. If you want to save your family, you got to fight for it. Because divorce is easy. Fighting for it is hard. But if you got somebody, especially with a woman, once a woman make her mind up, there's nothing you can say and do to change it. Period.
And that's why the brother said, make sure you ask the sister what you got to do.
Yeah, ask her. Ask her.
But you know how sometimes it can be complicated. Today she wants to go right, tomorrow she wants to go left.
Hey,
But
bro. Hey, bro.
No.
That back and forth is the work of the shaitan that he talking about.
Shaitan. But
That's-
when she
that's
wants divorce, if a woman wants divorce, ain't no back and forth.
Yeah,
Ain't no
it's
back
gonna
and forth.
be
Serious,
be permanent.
ain't no back and forth. Ain't no back and forth.
Brother said when an apple falls off the tree, a new one will grow. But
Yes.
the branch will never fall off until you cut the branch. You know what I mean?
That's wisdom.
Until you cut the branch. So
That's what-
you got to decide how you decide to go forward and how you want to do that, because situations they can become reoccurring situations. They can keep coming up.
Yeah, because one thing that's not going to go away is her father. He's not going to go away, right? So
No. Can't say that because nobody's mortal. Everybody's here is mortal. Nobody's immortal. So he
got a time
period. You can call him on any time. You got to remember that.
I'm saying like not immoral, but I'm saying if he's all up in her ear, saying, "Hey, my word goes."
You know what? Because you and this sister just got married, you don't really know her. That's why I'm saying give it some more time, because you never know. She might just wake up and be like, you know what? Wait a minute. I'm a Muslim woman, and I believe in this deen. I got to practice what the law tells me. I got to listen to my husband. You might have that type of sister that might, you know what, Pops? You know what? You wrong. And if you want to disown me, Allah Island, go right ahead.
And you know what's sad, but Brother Harun, you're right. But just to add to that, the father sometimes uses the deen in the wrong way. In the sense that he uses that line in the Quran that says "Wabil walidaini ihsana." You got to be kind to your parents. Like, how he twists it in a wrong way.
Yeah, but
mentally,
you got to understand it. You got to understand that verse right there is a true verse, but the verse does not mean that you obey your parents in disobedience to God.
Right, but that's how he twists it. You know what I mean?
Nah, see that's one of the things that I spoke of in the beginning, is that you got to have when you go in to look for a woman, one of the first things you need to do is you need to look at the attribute of the mother. Okay, this is for me. This is number one thing. When you look at the attribute of the mother, if the mother has some religious traits, they're gonna manifest itself inside of that child. Okay, and manifestation how? Because she is going to do what she knows is right according to the deen when it comes time for that. You know what I'm saying? So automatic.
Going back to that, I'm gonna tell you from my experience. Like my ex-wife mom, she didn't get them up for Salat. So they're lacking in Salat. They all love Islam, but they're lacking in their Salat. And that was one of our issues that I had with my wife. You know what I'm saying? When we first got married, we were getting up for Salat, we doing all 5 prayers, blah, 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 together. Next thing you know, it just started gradually dissipating over the years. And I never wavered. I still make my salats. Not saying I'm a better Muslim though, but I'm just saying in that the mom did not force, I won't say force, but impute in them the importance of salat. She impute other things, but not the salat. Her mom stuck with her husband. Even though when, my father-in-law was wrong on some things, she stuck with it. And my ex-wife kind of was a bit upset because she's like, you could have leave. You shouldn't have stayed. So these, you got to deal with the new mentality of today's woman also, because they got options now. They can leave, even when it's even going bad or hard, they can leave now. And unfortunately, you got parents, the mothers and the fathers who don't really impute Islam into their kids like they supposed to. And I'm just saying that from my experience. So look at the mother. You might have an ally with the mother too. Because if she did put,
well, what about if the mother is afraid of her husband?
See, now that sounds like some abuse going on now.
Yeah, that's a whole different level of you know what I'm saying?
That's abuse.
And you can't look, you can't interject situations that are not as they are. You need to get a basis of what the real situation is in order for you to move forward. Every situation that come up can't be, but what if? Okay.
Right. And
if situations are not realistic, we got to take the position of Imam Malik here and not the Hanafi position. The Hanafi position is that, a lot of these hypothetical situations, like Imam Malik says, when it happens, then we will come up with the ruling for that.
If it happens,
right. So let me be clear. So it's not what if, it is. Everybody's scared of him.
See, that's some mental abuse that's going on over there too.
Yeah, that's a whole nother level of something. Yeah, that's some other stuff.
So now you have to look at it. Now this is a good reason why you shouldn't get divorced. Now, because now you can be the rescue rangers that she's looking for, that knight in shining armor that she's looking for. You know what I'm saying? So you just have to really work on that to get your wife to understand that you're here to save her and to bring her home where she's safe, where she don't have to be mentally abused, where she don't have to be physically abused. You can tell your mother-in-law, hey, if you need a place to stay, you can always come stay with us, period, because you got rights. And I'm your son, not a son-in-law. I'm your son. So since you my umi, I'm going to protect you. Plain and simple. And that's how you got to put it. Because it sounds like some mental things. It sounds like he's mentally abusing them. If he's doing that. And you got to stop using the what if. If ifs and ands and pots and pans, the whole world will be a kitchen. We don't do ifs and ands as Muslims.
Yeah, you got to come with some concrete stuff in order to get sound.
Right. That's what I said. What I said. We're not talking about what ifs. This is the reality.
Okay.
You might need to get some other parties involved, brother, because it sounds like he's mentally abusing them, plain and simple, mentally and physically abusing them. Because your wife is not in the right state, and we were talking about this earlier about being in the right mental state, and we don't, as husbands and as wives, we don't pay attention to those mental disabilities that our spouse have. And we were just having that discussion, and you didn't see it. You didn't realize she might be mentally abused over the years. Sound like it to me. If the mom is even scared of it, sound like some physical, mentally abuse going on over there that you weren't privy to.
I got a rule, man, and a rule for me is this right here, because I got a pass from the Dunya. You know what I'm saying? I'm from California, man. I got a pass from the Dunya. So the rule for me with any female that is in my situation, any one of my wives, the rule is, if the situation ever gets to the point where I have to raise my hand to deal with you, then automatically, you got to go, because I ain't got time for that. There is no situation where I'm going to be raising my hand or getting physical with a woman or a woman getting physical with me. Okay, so if that's what's taking place with the father-in-law, then that already is a bad deal, because anyone that comes out of an abusive relationship, they don't know how to be in any other relationship except an abusive relationship. If a woman is in a family and her father and mother are abusive to one another, that's the only thing that she knows. Eventually, that will manifest in her in the long run. So you need to always know and be checking for those telltale signs, man, because those are dangerous traits.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
really is.
dangerous.
You might have to, after you get her home, you need to go get her therapy. She's gonna need a lot of therapy, especially if y'all don't have any kids, right?
True.
She's gonna need a lot of therapy because it sounds like some mental and physical abuse that she's been experiencing over the years.
Yeah.
Over the years. And she probably, like most people who've been abused, don't even realize they're being abused. They think
They think it's normal. Yep. They think it's normal. Yep.
And before you have kids, she needs me to get her some help. Serious help. And if you
It's true because a new husband can't change, 25 years of being in her dad's house, right?
Why not?
I'm saying overnight. I'm just saying overnight.
Overnight. Nothing happens overnight.
About that behavior pattern, as far as
pattern. And you know what? She probably don't even know she's dealing. She don't even know she's abused. That's the sad part about it. She don't even know because she thinks this is normal behavior. Now you got a choice, brother. You can either deal with it or let it go.
Yeah, that's because that's a lot. That's a lot to. That's a lot right there.
You understand what you're about to get yourself into. You got to understand what you're about to get yourself into. If she's been mentally abused and physically abused, you got to understand what you're about to deal with. And she's going to need a lot of counseling to get it out of her.
Yeah, my brother.
Something to think about. And
unfortunately, unfortunately,
a lot.
So also we finna get up out of here, brother Haroon. It's like 12 o'clock now over here for us. And I'm gonna read this last post. So as you make your prayer, brother, make sure you make dua for us. We're gonna be making dua for you, my brother. And we're gonna be on here. We're gonna be on here at the same time next week, and I'm gonna be sending all of y'all the link because this conversation is moving to a whole nother direction. Okay. All right. A whole nother direction. All right. Appreciate it,
hey,
my
man,
brother.
I just want to say, brother Arun, man, really nice talking with you, man. And but we got other brothers showing up right now. Quantum Generator. And we appreciate all of you guys, man.
Brother just now chimed in, bro. We finna go ahead and roll up out. It says, for some people, marriage is like landing a dream job. Then a couple years later, demanding half ownership in the business that hired you. Whoa, that's a deep one. We're gonna have to comment on that on the next go around.
Hold on, let me I'm gonna highlight this.
That's deep right there.
Woo, that's a deep one right there. Quantum Generator. Okay. We're gonna be in here on the next go around. Quantum Generator. You need to go ahead and hit a brother on the on my YouTube channel. This is gonna be on my YouTube channel, y'all. So you can share the link with any of your friends. Make sure you get it out there so that when the next week come around, we get more participants and this conversation opens up wider into a broader forum. You know what I mean? Because I think sometime next week or the week after that, we're gonna be moving into polygamy, and that is definitely gonna be on the table, my brothers. Okay. So without further ado, we're gonna sign off. And I appreciate having the brothers on here, man. This was this was you know, man, this was great. You know what I mean? So inshallah, I'm gonna go ahead and let the brothers go. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you.
All right.
No, we appreciate y'all.